There's more replies. Oh, somebody gave it Kobe Bean Bryant. I don't know. Okay. Well, you know what? What I'm not gonna do.
Influential. Mm,
What I'm not gonna do is rank. Instead, yeah, I like this better.
yeah.
Instead, look at Paul. He's just like, I'm in your face, man. What's going on?
As I'm doing it, because I'm looking at other screens as I'm doing this. What's going on?
Okay, instead of like, oh, okay, this guy's more inspirational than that. Let's just make the case for everybody. So Ali was the most heavily focused guy. Why do we like him? Why do you two like him?
Well, because he was more than sports. I mean, he was a icon of history. He was one of the first people that really uh, took his platform of being famous, a celebrity in sports, and realized there's more to it, more to life than that, and used that his fame in the sports arena to extend to civil rights and human rights. Um, he elevated that platform into something more, something that we quite frankly criticize a lot of athletes for not doing these days.
Go ahead, Brian.
Okay. Mostly because he's an activist, but he also was true to himself, no
Right.
matter what the cost was. So you knew that by me not saying I don't want to go to the Vietnam War, by not doing this, Viet Cong didn't do anything to me, things like that. He knew there were going to be consequences to it. And you know what he did? The same thing he was going to do anyway. He was still himself. I had pictures of my dad, who grew up in the South Side of Chicago, with Muhammad Ali rolling through the hood, taking pictures with these kids, being inspirational in their neighborhood, being seen, being a part of it. Like, you don't see those things. So when we talk about inspirational, it's not just seeing them on TV. It's not just seeing them in the newspaper or whatever. It's seeing them in your face, in your place. That's huge. And he did it all the time, no matter where he went.
And that's
New York,
that's not
Chicago. This is what he is.
Yeah, people never had problems with Ali.
what
People
never had.
did not have. Let me rephrase. Black people didn't have problems with Ali.
Yeah, I think I get you. So I was gonna say to Brian that it's one thing that you could be rich, you can make your achievements in sports, and then cut a check and do good. That's and which is fine. I'm not discrediting the value of those, but it's the inspiration part where he's like, you know what? No one's ever gonna come to this school. Hi, I'm gonna show up. I'll put another angle on his inspiration, religion wise. How many famous people with Arabic names do you know? This man's name is Muhammad Ali. Well, Cassius Clay was his birth name, but he changed it. He held it down. He did something that's you might not know about. The Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Mhm.
He's like, okay, you can't have my name on there because that's the name of a prophet, right? I don't want that to be walked over on. And I think they made an accommodation where it's more so on a wall than it is on the floor. And like he was considerate. You said that's true, Paul. You
That's
already
true.
knew that story.
No, I didn't know that. I've been to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I don't remember that.
It's on a
that's
wall.
cool.
It is.
So do you remember when you've been to the Walk of Fame? Do you remember where like who he stepped on and or he looked at? Oh, Britney Spears. Oh, it's him.
There are a lot of different names. What was the thing I noted? There were two names that were next to each other. Something like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin or something like that.
Huh.
Two names that were always known together, and they put their names together. I thought that was kind of cool.
Is
Probably
it majority?
starts at the same time.
Oh yeah, it probably got at the same time. That would make sense. Did you see Pedro Pascal was at William Dafoe's just recently? Yeah,
I didn't know that.
William
No, I
Dafoe got
didn't.
his Walk of Fame.
I saw William Dafoe, but I didn't know Pedro Pascal got his.
He was there with him. He was there with William. I don't know what their relationship is. They must have done a movie together. Okay, we're prolonging this. Let's see here. We also had the next one was O.J. Simpson ran for 273 yards versus the Lions on Thanksgiving 1976, setting an NFL record. If that inspired you, that inspired you. Bro.
He inspired a lot of different people.
Ernest Claiborne hits us with Jim Brown is the greatest of all time. So I'm not an NFL guy, but who else wants to speak on this? Is this another one where it's outside? Ooh, someone DM me. I'll check that in a second.
There's no one that's greater than Jim Brown as a running back. In my opinion, in his short time frame. No matter what you say, you can say Emmitt Smith, who has the biggest numbers. Walter Payton, who's probably the best all around. Barry Sanders might be a great runner, but he's not full, complete running back. The stuff that Jim Brown did, he was doing that, and he was an activist. Like he was everything. He said it, and then he's a star. He's in Hollywood, and we're talking about a man who did not care. He did not care. Like I want to be myself, and that's who it is. And you can't say enough about him. He's in blaxploitation movies. I mean, the dude is amazing. We really want to talk about Jim Brown, yeah. But he's in the same ilk of Muhammad Ali.
I agree.
Really,
I agree with that.
Really like that good. Okay, I remember his part in the movie. Was it 4 Nights in Miami or something? That movie. So he was talking to the team owner of the franchise, and then everything was going peachy, right? Yeah. And then, hey, and he's like, do you want her to get you a drink? And he was like, yeah, or he said no, I forget which one it was. And then he was about to go inside, and then he's like, no, we don't let niggers inside the house.
Inside the house, like, exactly. You can't go in the front door.
So like, we could use you for the football team. We could conversate with you. We can do a lot of things, but the inside the door thing is like that line. That's the humanization line that never got through to the Jerry Jones. It wasn't Jerry Jones, but
I was literally about to say they could juxtapose Jerry Jones in that scene.
It's at this moment I realized that you're share streaming the live stream. Facebook
more the merrier, man.
Yeah, but this was for members only. But it's okay.
I didn't, my bad, man.
I didn't know. What we're gonna do today's edition of T'Challa Time, and will be a completely Black Comic Lords Facebook exclusive or membership team partnership.
That's cool.
Because I didn't say not to, right? I should have said so. I should have warned. I should have said no. Hold on. Okay, look.
My bad, man. I was just trying to bring more viewers to Chillmonger.
Bring more viewers in. It's free preview day today. Colin Kaepernick says Onzo. Okay, here. That's the thing that you guys were just saying about players today. Colin Kaepernick was in his prime, and I mean, he shouldn't have been blackballed. He was definitely good enough to still play football in the NFL, and they were even trying to give him a job like 4 or 5 years later. Remember that for that bogus tryout, but they were definitely going to give him a job. That shout out to Colin Kaepernick, man.
No, he took what he was doing and took the consequences no matter what, which is cool, and I appreciate that. But you're not on the same level as the greats of all time, because Muhammad Ali can be said that he's the greatest boxer, period. You could say that Jim Brown was one of the greatest runners, and he did it before anyone else did it. Colin Kaepernick is a guy who did.
He was good, but I don't. You're not putting him up there, and even at his prime, you weren't putting him in the conversation of greatest of all time.
Paul, I got a comic book key.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in previews several months ago.
Yeah.
Is it any good?
It's just like the Netflix series. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
I don't think I watched the Netflix series. No.
The Ava DuVernay 4-part Colin Kaepernick series. No,
which is interesting because Colin wanted to connect with his roots, kind of led him to a lot of this stuff. So that's very interesting.
Right.
Same writer who does the Black Panther comics. Next, we go to Cristiano Ronaldo from Briarwood. You see, that's the thing. That's a Manchester United fan, if I've seen one. Does he do inspirational things and take photos and donate? Yes, and I wish I knew more about this Portuguese soccer player. Anyone know about the football player?
I mean, I have heard and seen that he is big with his fans. He's very much someone who goes out in the community.
Exactly.
But beyond that, I don't really follow football that hard like that.
Jaded Fanboy tells us about Jesse Owens.
Yeah. Him doing what he did and not getting killed over it. That was interesting. And then being the first to do anything in a world that doesn't love you or doesn't even respect you and showing you better than everyone else is huge. You could say Jesse Owens, you could say Jackie Robinson, you could say being that person that it's huge, like that's first is so hard.
As you mentioned it, Jackie Robinson definitely deserves to be in that conversation because for me, it's not just one moment in time. It's kind of like it's inspirational because you're inspirational the course of your life. Jackie Robinson, from the time that he was in high school and in college, before he even got into professional sports, was setting records and breaking barriers. And he continued to do that throughout his career and after his career. It is a little controversial towards the civil rights movement where they had him speak out against certain members of the civil rights community.
They had him.
Yeah.
They was that you just leaving it there?
Yeah, I'll just leave it there.
Listen,
People can Google it. I'm not trying to start a controversy.
Okay.
But suffice it to say that there are people that said, "Well, what's your opinion on this uppity Negro guy?"
Yeah.
And he took opinions that were contrary to that. It's kind of the divide and conquer thing, where you try to set Black people against each other to try to subvert the movement of someone who's viewed as being too much of an agitator.
Robin D, good evening, all. What's up? Hey, Dre Mac was talking about her. Judging from her photo, guys, who's older, Dre Mac or Robin D? Because he was like, he slid this in there. He's like, we probably grew up at the same time, and I'm like, no, Robin is younger than you, sir.
Dre Mac wears that hat,
Dre Mac
so
is deceptively older than he looks.
He has the hat.
He got
like a kid in college without the hat, maybe.
I see his kids too. Yep.
Without the hat, Dre Mac might look a little bit older. We age well. I mean, I'm 40.
See, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Are you really 40, Brian?
Yeah.
Wow. Impressive.
That's what I'm talking about.
Most impressive. We got next one up here. Inspirational athletes. That's what I was asking about. Or I said influential. Not bad. Oh, it was inspirational. I got it right the first time. So we went through Ali. We hit Jason Williams. Is that white chocolate?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's the only Jason Williams I know.
I know the other one who killed somebody, but
I don't think he's talking about that one. I think white chocolate. The elbow pass guard from the Sacramento King and Miami Heat, I guess, where he won his title.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's same kind of type of reason as Jackie Robinson, kind of breaking a color barrier, because that kind of skillful dribbling technique and that kind of fancy schmancy stuff isn't typically. Pistol Pete, maybe.
Yeah, it was like Cousy did it, Pistol Pete did it. Like this stuff was like there's a lot of them that did that.
There's nothing unique about that, man.
For their time, Bob Cousy, shout out to him, by the way, 95 years old. I just watched an interview with him a couple months ago. But like, whoa! Wait a minute! Stop the conversation. Did you say 50?
She's 50-ish. That means plus 50 plus.
Ooh, so that's an old photo, Robin. Wow, we know that trick.
I don't know, man. Black don't crack. I don't know.
Still impressive.
It also does not preserve like that. That's inhumane. That is not a 50-year-old. We need another one, another rhyming word for black don't lie either. Like Rasheed Wallace says, ball don't lie. So all right, like Jason Williams, and yes, color barrier for the. She said no, it's not.
Black don't crack, beige don't age. Something.
Man, but tan can.
That's enough.
Brown can still get down. I don't know. You need to get someone some rhyming skills.
Yeah, salute to Jason Williams, recognizing your and one sort of like skills and stuff. So we'll give you that one to Scotty Hawkward. Muhammad Ali, Apollo Anton Ono, speed skater, 8-time Olympic medalist. I mean, if we're talking about like his feats, you're right. Yeah, definitely give it up to Apollo Anton Ono. But how many people does that really touch? Like, even look, 8 people have seen this tweet, but 43 seen the one that says Muhammad Ali. There's a difference. Move on to Serena Williams.
That's special.
She's up there. She's right up there with Ali, in my opinion. I saw a picture someone posted. I think it was on Twitter recently. It was a collage of black tennis players or tennis players of African descent that were playing in the Australian Open, and there was like a dozen of them. And it's unprecedented.
It's all because of her and Venus.
Yeah,
well, I don't know if she's with Ali, but she's definitely like Jackie Robinson. I would say like that type of thing. Ali was the greatest, and then told you about it, and then did all this other activist stuff, and then but Jackie Robinson, who had the color barrier, had to do all those things. I think Serena has brought tennis to all little girls. My girls play tennis because of Serena. Like. Growing up, we thought that this was a cool thing. Like, I'm gonna go start doing this. Tennis is also always thought as a country club thing. Man, we had tennis courts outside. All of a sudden, you have black girls everywhere doing it. saying, "Oh, I could be it too." So
she's
shout out.
an icon for little girls everywhere, but particularly for little black girls. I mean that she changed the game when it came to tennis for young black girls to get into tennis. My daughter's a testament to that too. She does tennis.
Yeah.
And being okay with a different body type. You don't have to be this skinny white girl to be a tennis player. You could be powerful, you could be athletic, and you could own it, and you can still do fashion just like it. Like there's nothing that you could tell me no to know about because I could do it all, and that's what Serena stands for. So I love
She's
that.
unapologetically black in the way she carries herself and her style.
That's it.
Yeah, you guys seen her husband?
Yeah.
I've seen her husband.
And you know what? You ain't that many billionaires in the world, so I ain't gonna try to even hate. You said would it be a billion? Nah, I'm okay.
Serena Williams, her sister, the inspiration, and then she walked in Wimbledon. She deserves to be mentioned.
Absolutely.
Barry Sanders.
I said Barry Sanders before. You talking about greatest running backs of all time.
But
I mean, what's he doing now that anybody can talk about?
Barry Sanders doesn't ever talk.
That's my point. is you're talking about inspirational? You kind of have to be out there in the community, out there in the public realm, and putting yourself out there to be still inspirational, both on and off the court. Even when Ali retired from boxing, he was still out in public, making ripples.
Think about it. Before he
that
died,
got like
just
3 movies
him.
about you.
People just wanted to touch him, just to be around him.
Right.
Just because that's how inspirational he was.
Now let's go to Kobe the Mamba Bryant. This man, inspirational as hell. Okay, the Mamba mentality thing that he kind of branded, the kind of like you got to keep going and persevere. It's still being used today, even though the man tragically had passed away. Being part of the Los Angeles huge mega market, big team Lakers, probably helps with him. But like he did stuff, like he won a freaking Oscar after his career, right? Like this guy really tried. Is he in the community? I don't know. Like if I look at somebody like, no, let's not compare.
You can't compare him. I mean, you shouldn't do it because anything you will say that's not positive tries to almost pull someone down.
Yeah,
but it's just not. It's not the same. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just, he's not.
And
the
also,
same.
Unfortunately, because he was he died so early in his life. There's not. I mean, I think had he not died, I think he would eventually get into that conversation. One would think or hope. But we'll never know because he died shortly after he retired.
Unfortunately. What about Bo Jackson or Kenny Griffey Jr.? If we're talking about greatness, but like again, I'm talking
inspirational is the word.
Yeah, the way we think about people like Denzel Washington and Chadwick Boseman and like the inspirational. That's all.
Goes beyond what they do.
Now, here's the thing with some of these athletes. There's someone you never heard of named Terry Fox. Ever heard of him? Okay.
No, never heard of Terry.
He's a guy from Vancouver. So his job, what he did, which was great. Well, you got a super chat, by the way, Black Comic Lords, coming out of Big HHB number 3, $5. Drop in to support the brand. Tap back in after the playoffs.
That game's over, so you can go ahead and keep on watching.
Salute to you. I would play one of your drops, but I don't have one. You got to reenact one of your drops for a super chat. Say something that was
super chat, boy. You bomb back.
Yeah. Oh, next one is from Ernest. Okay, he said, "Oh, by the way, we just read your comment, Ernest, where you said Jim Brown. Jackie Robinson could have been an Olympic long jumper at UCLA. He dominated in basketball, football, track, and baseball. He even played with a black basketball all-star team that beat the NBA champions."
That's all true.
Yeah, Jackie Robinson was that dude. People just know him for,
And that's why they say those Celtics championships don't count. Honestly, from back in the days, come on now.
Hey, no, don't get me wrong. Jackie Robinson not going to do anything with Bill Russell because Bill Russell was also an activist. Bill Russell also said a lot of controversial stuff, and Bill Russell also married whatever.
So right now we've got a top 3: Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, and Jackie Robinson. At some point we're gonna have to rank them.
We're not
ask the public to rank them because I'm not getting into that fight.
We're not doing that. We're just gonna mention somebody new each time. Man named Terry Fox. Okay. Unfortunately, due to cancer, he had to amputate off his leg.
Mm.
One leg, left leg. You know what he did though? You know what he was a runner. He was a marathon runner. And he decided in his 20s, he decided I am going to run a marathon for cancer awareness. He did that. And he said, what we're going to do is we're going to start on the east of Canada. If you've ever seen how wide that country is, and run all the way to the west. And he did a lot of running. He died and made it to Thunder Bay. But when this Thunder Bay, oh, you guys don't know where that is. It's in Ontario, and it's right before Manitoba.
Okay.
Do you understand? Do you understand how condescendingly Canadian that statement was? Like, you silly Americans don't know anything about my country. So let me explain. Not that you're not that you're wrong.
No, he
There's
was
no
saying
football
it.
team.
I was trying to figure out where that was.
Yeah, guys, you guys don't know where that is. It's okay. It's okay. But he started from the east. He kind of dipped because if you know what Ontario looks like on the map, it's kind of like the lower parts where the heavily populated cities are, and he then went back up, and everybody was running with him. Like there's streets that people will be like, Terry ran here. Like everyone knows that. So he ran a marathon a day, every single day. The cancer caught back up to him. Died in Thunder Bay, unfortunately. But
Oh
in the
man.
beginning of the school year in September, all of our schools would have the Terry Fox Day where we would do a run also, and we would learn about that, how to persevere through you can run a marathon and be amputated with a little fake leg. It's at the time, I think it was in the 80s, 70s maybe. But at the time, technology wasn't that advanced to have a
So they
fake leg.
didn't have
It
like
wasn't a
the
fin or
super
anything like
prosthetics
that.
they
That
have
was
now. Yeah.
He is
man.
hobbling and he's running because he said, I am not a quitter. He never quitted. He never quitted. I said quat like it's a word. Like I'm trying. But shout out to Terry Fox. That's hugely inspirational. And I find that athletes and their ability to do physical perseverance, it's crazy. We all
I'm
hear about
inspired just by you telling me that story. I hadn't heard of him
Yeah,
before.
that
Oh, yeah.
sounds amazing though.
From the wrestling world. I want to recognize The Rock. I know he also does acting, and maybe that's also to it. They put him in a box. He persevered. He does a few charity things. He gets a little bit of scrutiny for the whole Hawaii campaign stuff, like that whole fund he did with Oprah. But he exudes positivity at least, or he tries to.
No, I mean the dude
He
gives
does.
so much money. What
Shout
he
out to
gave
The
to
Rock.
the
Shout out to the
writers.
U, my school, from which
Oh,
he
you
came.
went to the U. Oh man.
One time he did the people's elbow, and then he did this, and they were in Miami. They're all like, "You."
You. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome to go. No, but I
John
mean,
Cena.
think about he gave all that money to the Writers Guild. He's supported anyone who wanted to do anything. I mean, he bought the XFL, he and his ex-wife together. Like, now it's the UFL. Like, I mean, the dude is doing things and making things happen. Anything you tell him no, he's gonna go try to do. So I appreciate that.
A lot of wrestlers do stuff like that. Jesse Ventura becoming the governor. You know what he did?
And
He
so,
made it so that you would get paid off of the pay-per-views. He made it so that you would get paid off of the DVDs because he's like, wait a minute, what's happening here is different. He said it's not any different than what happens in movies because when it goes to and the guild fought for this, right? When it goes to DVD, then that's a new revenue source. The actors and the crew need to be included in some of that also. It's not can't always go to the studios. He did the same thing, took them to court. Like he won a lot of rights to the wrestlers. Jesse
that's
the Body
awesome.
Ventura.
That's
Oscar Robertson had something like that, where he's saying he was like, we need a players association. And at halftime of the All-Star game, he said, we players are not going back out until we can come to an agreement. And that's why we have the NBA PA. Oscar Robertson did that. Jackie Robinson could have been an Olympic. And then he says, Jackie Robinson is still the only 4-sport varsity letterman in UCLA history. That's never being broken. Nope, not anymore.
No, come
Sports
on.
is big business. They'll find a good athlete from this
Two is
sport, that
amazing.
sport, that sport. Yeah.
2 is amazing. Like if you could do, I mean, Deion Sanders, you could do baseball and football. That's amazing. You're talking about 4? But also, this is more specialized now too, because you're not going to be able to find anyone who's going to do more than 3. Cream.
What's he done? It's inspirational here. Is he marched also? Like what did he do? He's
Oh,
not Magic Johnson.
yeah,
Magic
he
Johnson
was-
in his sorry. Magic Johnson for a second before you get to Kareem.
Yeah.
Movie theaters, right?
Mhm.
Him owning that Washington football team. What's it called? The Guardians.
The Commanders.
Owning that team is inspirational just by that alone.
He's
Persevering
part of the
through
Dodgers
his
too.
health. He had the Dodgers. His health issues also That's inspirational. I don't know why it took so long to get to Magic Johnson. You were gonna say about Kareem?
No, you were saying what has Kareem done? I mean, he was involved in the civil rights movement as
Very
well,
much so.
um, and
He was
just
he was involved in not. Remember, they're like putting a lot of black players and stuff like that in different hotel rooms and different rooms for things, and he wouldn't. He's like, I won't show up if you continue to do that. Like, there's stuff that Kareem did that was pretty awesome too.
yeah,
But he
and
just
not
he
not in front of
wasn't
the
the
camera
greatest.
too.
He
He
never
wasn't.
cared about anyone else that anyone knew. You
Yeah.
know, he's done a lot for people being artistic and inspirational, like things. He's paid for a lot of things like that. Like he's his own man, but he's done a lot of inspirational type of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Inspirational athletes. There we go. You want to get into this comic book talk?
Wait, I want to say I don't like this guy that much, but what LeBron James has done is pretty
Why don't you like
inspirational too.
LeBron James?
I hate LeBron James. It has nothing to do with anything he's ever done. It has everything to do with me being from Chicago and being a hater. 100%. 100% being a hater. Okay. But what LeBron James done, what he's done with his schools, what he's done in his community, what he's done just for any athlete that looks and say he married his high school sweetheart. He's never caught up in any of this other craziness. He's always a father. He's father first. Like, I don't care what you guys are talking about. The stuff that you look at him, as far as like you talk about Michael Jordan, there's nothing compared to LeBron. LeBron, when he is everything. He's done everything right. I mean, he's a billionaire from just all the other stuff that he does with the movies, and he's just. I don't like him as a basketball player, but as a man, that's a dude. That's him.
Yeah, LeBron's one of those guys that when he's done with his career, and it's all said and done for him, he's going to go in the history books. He's going to be recognized as an icon, not just for what he did on the basketball court, but what he did in the public and what he did in the community, his contributions, his charitable works, but more importantly, as you pointed out, Byron, how he carried himself. You're not talking to a guy who's been arrested or been caught up in a bunch of scandals, has a bunch of kids all over the place. The guy really led his life in a positive way, and he doesn't go out of his way to like be negative or nasty to anyone. He lives his life. People come after him and he'll defend himself.
Since he was 16 years old, he's been in the limelight. He's lived his entire life in a fishbowl.
Yeah.
And the man has still figured out how to better himself. And then, I mean, even think his little group, he's paid for them all to go to school. They've all, been successful because they stayed with LeBron. Like he's done it in some, small, and he's done it large. Dude is pretty awesome.
Hey, what's up, Alonzo
Star in the building? Everybody pick up.
Everybody pick up Axelai. It's like well timed, man. Well timed.
About. Oh man. What were we talking about?
We didn't plan that either, by
the way. Buy Concrete Comics, everybody. What was I saying though? LeBron. Okay, look, here's the thing with LeBron. He said, "Yo, that's crazy." with LeBron, yeah, the school's all good. Did you not see what Dr. Umar said? Like that week that those studies came out, that
does Umar's school come out yet?
No, Dr. Umar's school starts in the next school season.
That's my point.
Oh, so nothing he says can be valid because his school hasn't opened yet.
No, I'm just saying, like,
you didn't even have to say
the criticisms that please proceed.
You want to throw shade
LeBron,
on someone who's been doing it for a long time.
Oprah school came out.
Where's your school, Paul?
My school is right here in my house where I educate my child.
Good answer. You got me.
On the importance of life.
Okay. Hey, David Robinson has done the same thing, and a lot of them done it in South Africa. Like David Robinson opened his 30 years ago and paid all tuition and paying for kids to go to the college 30 years ago. Like this is like LeBron's done it is great, but I'm saying he's not the first one. He's just taking it, to a different level. But he's not the first. There's a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to him. It reminded me of Malcolm Brogdon, who I remember he was on TNT talking about the wells that maybe it might be Uganda, maybe it's Cameroon, but he was talking about the wells.
Cameroon.
It was a Cameroon?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm conflating that with something I saw on Mr. Beast. But anyways, this man's like, oh yeah, we build wells. And then Charles Barkley was really, okay, how much do they cost? Oh, 30,000. Yeah, I got you. And I was like, oh, okay, that was cool. of him to do that, and they kind of like bought a well for Malcolm Brogdon. That's amazing. He's not a star athlete. I don't think he's been a play. He's not been an all-star, right? He's
Brogdon,
just
he's very good, but he's
the
not
guy.
all-star.
But that's inspirational to know that that's where his mental is. I saw him when he's on the Boston Celtics and they were visiting Washington. He and what's the Jaylen Brown? Jaylen Brown, another player on the Boston Celtics, went to the White House and they were talking about something about when you get out of jail and some way to help people
acclimated to life and
acclimate. I was going to say integrate, but you got a better word. And that was really cool of him. Oh yeah, Dr. Umar is a huge concrete fan. I've done a few events at his school campus. When it is opened, it's gonna be beautiful. Is Gina like Philadelphia slang? Like it's like John? What is Gina? Is that just a typo? It's gonna be. I'm serious.
We'll start top of the capital G. So I don't know.
Ernest says that LeBron School is a charter school, meaning it's a public school with public funds. I meant gonna. Got you. This is the
private school that's been publicly funded.
Did you guys talk about Hakeem Olajuwon? What he's done, or what he's done in Africa, or Luol Deng? What Luol Deng has done in Africa?
Shout out to Luol Deng. Luol Deng paid by the Lakers. How much money off of that? Like he was
another $80 million after he retired.
Yeah. Now tell us what he's done, Mr. Chicago.
I mean, Luol Deng he opened schools. He's paid open basketball courts, camps, housing complexes. Like the stuff that he's done in Africa between him and Hakeem Olajuwon are epic. I don't think anyone's going to match the stuff that they've done.
You know why? Because your dollar goes much further. And there's less taxes and stuff that can take your money. If you really want to make an impact, shout out to Akon also. These guys are really like accomplishing it.
Akon building his Wakanda out there.
Hey.
We mentioned a lot of
shout out to Jeffrey Thorne. He's in the chat too, apparently.
Jeffrey Thorne, where?
It says, I have no idea what's happening here.
I have no idea what's happening. I don't see it. Where is it? Is it on your Facebook end?
I'm looking in comments at 5:43 p.m.
At 5. Okay, I gotta scroll up. Circumstances. Oh, Thorne identity. There it is. He says, I have no idea what's. Well, if you're still here, we were gathering together to read one of these puppies, Black Panther issue number 8, as I do often, and I assemble a panel of readers and we get together. We talk about the comic book. Oh, look at me! I got the variant cover. Oh, look at me!
I got both.
So do I.
Look at you. Oh, that's static. But whatever.
They all look the same.
I can't look at it. It's in somewhere in these stacks over here. I have no idea.
I wish I could tell you. I have because I'm moving. I have 18 long boxes on my table over here, just of stuff I was going through. I was like, how do I have so much crap? The CLZ Comics thing is helping me stay organized and let me know if I'm buying the same comic over and over again.
Yeah,
man, I need that.
Anyone want to nominate a white athlete though? Like, because I feel like we've all been talking about, okay, this is why he's broke a color barrier here or inspiring there. Like, what about white people? Tom Brady? Tom Brady? Like, is it like the same thing, Mamba mentality or Peyton Manning? Like, do these guys have that sort of branding? No?
Those guys don't do it for me.
How about like hockey players? Wayne Gretzky, does he bring anything?
We're Americans. I mean,
I'm trying to think of somebody.
So I guess the trade from Edmonton to LA didn't really
it wasn't
anything.
Man, I don't know, man. I'm trying to I'm literally trying to rack my brain of someone who's done is inspirational on that level.
Damn. Yeah. Okay.
Man, I'm trying. I'm sorry.
It is what it is. Let's begin the comic book review of T'Challa Time issue number 8. Okay, ready for it? Let me get the overlay right. Get the introduction and everything.
Overlay, man, you're getting fancy.
Well, it's not that fancy. It's like a 5-second little thing. You'll see when I say it. Welcome everybody. It's time. It's
T'Challa time.
Get out your issue number 8 of the Black Panther.
I dig that. T'Challa time.
It's T'Challa. You clearly don't watch my channel because I've been naming this for like this is the 8th one. Come on, Black Comic Lords.
I've been busy, man.
He's been busy doing videos and clips for his StreamYard. That's what he's been busy doing. What do you guys think about the cover of this? Because much have been said as soon as this was released about, oh no, he's getting his ass whooped. Or
I get chided all the time because I made a comment a couple months ago where I said Torrin Clark, who's the artist on that cover, is working on becoming the #1 comic book artist cover artist in the world. And people are like, oh no, Alex Ross, I was like, no, I'm not taking it back. Torrin Clark is coming for the #1 spot of being the greatest comic book cover artist in the world. The guy's artwork just keeps getting better and better. If you hold up that cover again, what was really interesting is the nuances of it. You see Monet, who's incredibly powerful. She's far stronger than T'Challa, is pushing him with her hand. The other hand, her left hand, she has got right ready as a fist, but she's just shoving him with her open hand, and he's got his shield to help protect him, and still shatters the wall behind him. That's how much storytelling he took with just an image, that she's using her strength, but she's reserved. She's not crazy. She's not, angry. She has some restraint, and he's depicting all of that in one simple image. That's artistry. So that's storytelling. More importantly, it's storytelling.
It's not his first comic book issue or cover, right? Does he have a reputation of doing that?
For the Black Panther comics? He's always telling. I mean, he's
okay. Do what you did with that cover
for the last volume.
So say what you did with that other cover. Compliment this one the same way. Like, what's going on here? Multiple things.
Well, I mean, you've got T'Challa's other persona, Ike, on the cover, right? And that's the one who is on the ground, but above him, in the shadows, almost a silhouette, is something that's larger in life, which is the Black Panther. And the whole point of the story is T'Challa making himself smaller, making himself a man of the people, so that he can redefine who he is beyond the shadow of who the Black Panther is.
Look at that. I'm going to give you more art to interpret.
Isn't that something that was even talked about in this
background? What is that?
Amazing.
Tell me about the stars.
Talk about the stars in the J.
Well, to the uninitiated, you would think that those are just randomly placed stars, but clearly there's a pattern that has been established in the laying of those stars.
I just add one randomly as I grow. There's no pattern. The J was like when Jonathan Majors was fighting.
Is that what the J's for?
That's
the J was Jonathan. I haven't read Black Panther since the
Intergalactic because the stars represent when people die and they ascend into the heavens, and that J on the star is Jonathan Majors' career.
Ooh, shots fired. Oh,
that's not a shots fired. I mean, I love Jonathan Majors, but he's taken an L on his career with what's happened to him, unfortunately.
It's not really his fault. Then he can win that.
It's not his fault.
I think if he wins the appeal, that all this stuff is changing. Yeah, I mean, things change.
I'm surprised with how many people have so much like love and trust for the system. They're like, well, he got a guilty verdict. Yeah, he also got not guilty for intentional assault, not guilty for aggravated harassment. He got a guilty verdict. So what happens when he appeals and he wins? Or if the judge was not fit, the judge should have not allowed those text messages in, or it was a faulty. What happens then? Then you go, oh well, the system says that he's not guilty. Like you can't go back.
It's funny you should say that, because there's another way to look at this.
What?
One could say that the system did work, right? From the standpoint of
the system being broken and
of those charges he was not convicted of, he wasn't supposed to be convicted of. But what he was convicted of, which is for all intents and purposes a simple battery, which is what we define it here in Florida. In the grand scheme of things, if you and I had been charged and convicted of a battery, would that necessarily have the impact on our lives and our careers as it does for him?
Not because the companies that we work at and work for don't really need us.
Right. We're not celebrities, right? So
my commentary isn't so much on him, the system, when it works or not. I was talking about just people have so much trust and faith in the system that being convicted is enough for them to say, okay, then it's
that means he's an evil person as a result. And that's what I'm saying. You got to give context to all this. The context of what he was charged and convicted of is.
I'm trying not to open up a can of worms, because I feel like saying the system's not broken.
The system is broken,
because it's like he shouldn't have been the only one charged anyway. If you're gonna go from the beginning,
right?
So like that from the beginning to me just stops that. So, but I want to focus on Black Panther, so I was like, all right, I'm going to try to
Yes. Let's bring
stay.
it to let's open a page, okay? So we get the big spiel. In the first page, there's something interesting that happens here. He says he's talking to Miss Saint Croix. Saint Croix. Speak French,
Saint
everybody.
Croix.
Croy.
I'm saying Saint Croix.
That's because you're Canadian,
Yeah, it's correct.
and your ability to understand the French language is probably far greater than ours.
Yeah,
Yes,
but as soon as
exactly.
I heard Saint Croix from Kaiser Slevin, I'm saying,
Yeah,
yep,
that
that's
was it.
exactly the
That was
correct
it.
way to say it.
All right, I'm gonna roll with Saint Croix then.
There we go. There we go. Poutine.
That's
Miss Saint
one
Croix.
word that wow.
That's one word you're very familiar with. He said, Miss Saint Croix, I meant no disrespect in your father's home. I am here on urgent business. I believe the writer of this comic book wrote those words. But then there's an additional word bubble down there. But I must confess that I am surprised to see you. Aren't mutants global fugitives meant to be imprisoned on sight? See Fall of X. Now, Eve Ewing will write EE next to all of her editor's notes. She kind of has a reputation for doing that. Yes, we all read this book. We noticed that. See Fall of X did not. This was a last minute.
That's Will Moss.
That is possibly Will Moss or
Mhm.
possibly Michelle Marchis, the the other associate editor. One of them is responsible for that little bubble at the bottom, because the bubble at the bottom doesn't match the hand reaching out, kind of saying like that. That was an editor's note. We got to make sure that everything is in line with the whole X-Men
With the
stuff,
rest of the
okay?
stuff we're going to be doing, we dropping
That's
this
a
X-Men
very good
stuff.
observation, Chillmonger.
Isn't it? I mean, guys, come on. So we all read the Wolverine issue where he kind of teamed up with T'Challa,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
that was an X-Men book. So I feel like I want to ask if this happened before or after the Wolverine encounter. Let's go with after, right?
Yeah, I think this is after.
I'm trying to remember that Wolverine issue. Was the fact of the mutants being outlaws brought up in that issue?
Yeah.
Yes, that was the first thing they were talking about.
First couple pages, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's the way he knows about this. That's why he's bringing this up, because he knows, and this see. So it's saying I know that this is happening, and see this comic book to go see why I know why this happened. So it's a connection between that. If you're only reading the Black Panther, you could go pick up this Wolverine one right here.
Yeah. Smart guy. San Croix. San Croix.
Croix.
There you go. That makes it much more better.
Yeah.
San Croix.
Haven't read Black Panther since about issue number 6 of
You should not be named
dog shit, it says. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't swear on your channel. I'm sorry, I forgot we were stream sharing. Yeah, well, I don't know.
We're past the 10 minutes. We're good.
Yeah. Just read the issue online via
O'Day Comics. Just read this issue online via O'Day Comics.
Oh, it must be one of those bootleg sites.
Yeah, because I don't think that Marvel is associated with them. Everybody, let's keep the comic book going and flowing, and support it by spending $4 or $8 if you want to get the variants also.
Exactly.
The character of Monet Saint Croix, her alter ego Penance makes an appearance. She says something about her red diamond. He's like, yeah, but this is vibranium.
Yeah.
And that line was so exposition-y, wasn't it?
Yeah, but yes, I agree with you. But here's the other part of that. Fanboys always have these discussions.
Yes.
Can vibranium cut, diamond hard skin?
Yeah.
Can vibranium cut Colossus? If vibranium goes up against Wolverine's claws, adamantium claws, who wins? Like she's jumping ahead of what the fanboys are inevitably going to ask anyway.
I can't argue because I've asked that question. I'm just saying.
I'm curious myself, because think about it. When you pull up, when you look at the page, the first strike was her. What was it? She tried to scratch him in the back.
It was claws, yeah.
With the claws. Do you see any blood?
Nope.
No.
She wasn't able to penetrate, and we already know Dr. Ewing said his costume, although it's not super fancy nanites, that one kind of looks like there's blood on those tips, right?
Maybe.
That raises the question, is that blood from her or is that blood from him? Eve Ewing already said that his outfit is made out of vibranium. It may not be nanites and everything, but it is vibranium weave.
Mhm.
So does that mean she's able to cut through it to some degree, or she get a part that
Or
wasn't
scratch
filled
it.
up?
Maybe can't get through, but you can scratch it because I feel like each time you saw a swipe, you saw little bits of black. So like you can scratch it, but you can't actually pierce it.
Yeah. See, we're doing it right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but these are
Right.
just the things we talk about. Who would win, Hulk versus Superman? If Superman came to Wakanda, is kryptonite, the vibranium kryptonite of the Marvel universe? Like, we don't know. Like, we gotta wait for a team for one of those amalgamation comic books to get that answer. Saint Croix rhymes with toy.
I like the Sang Kwa.
We are past that.
Sanqua.
We are
Sang
past
Kwa
that.
sounds kind of cool.
You're an imposter and you're trespassing, is what Monet or Penance says to T'Challa. And this is a reoccurring question that I keep asking during this comic book run, is that if he's trespassing, is he officially the Black Panther? Is there another one? Is Shuri the Black Panther? Because we really haven't seen her. Or were they cooking something where, like, issue 11, he'll be back in the Golden City and he's going to be all of a sudden, oh yeah, the reason why everyone's been calling me an imposter. And later in the comic book, she says to him, the disgraced king, exiled, and Wakanda has gone to siege charlatans pretending to be the, and then he interrupts her.
That's
Yeah, I
very
mean that's a
interesting.
very interesting question that's going to have to be
Right.
dealt with at some point. You've got a country that for 10,000 years or more have had a Black Panther, whether that be the leader of the country or just its champion. They've always had a Black Panther. Now, Black Panther, for a large sect of its populace who worship Bast, is the Pope of that religion. So that all those people who are followers of Bast, their Pope has been dethroned, but that doesn't no longer make him not the Pope. They have to still worship Bast. He's the acolyte of Bast. Are you going to replace him? They still need a head of their church, right?
Yeah, so that's interesting because they keep on saying throughout the entire comic, like the whole issue, all these issues are like saying there's an imposter. Oh, he's the real one. So if he's the real one, there has to be fake ones out there
That's
pretending to
another
be the
interesting
Black
question.
Panther. So like
Yeah.
when he keeps saying
Are
that,
there other ones? Yeah.
They straight up assume he's the fake one all the time. Anyways, that was just a little subtle something that may be happening. I also have my doubts that Niobe is actually Niobe and Changemeyer's like son and all that. I'm suspicious of, maybe my suspicion isn't as high as it once was. Maybe it's down to like a level 3. But I got my questions on whether that character is a villain also.
Well, two other questions on that.
Uh-huh.
M now knows that T'Challa, that the Black Panther who is running around Wakanda is actually T'Challa. Is she going to tell Aurora, and is Aurora going to care now that she's with Craig, the corny dude?
You think
That's
there's
the first
continuity?
whoa, you think they're going to do that?
No, they're not. They're not going to do that.
Oh,
I want no parts of that. Don't worry. Listen. The X-Men office have told us that the relationship between T'Challa and
Give
her.
me this right here, guys.
What is it?
Yes, sir.
Give me Aurora. Give me T'Challa.
Always
Let me get that,
and
baby.
forever.
Let me get that. Let's get that up, guys. We need that.
Picture with you.
Oh man!
If they broke the team up once, the X-Men office have shown us that the office who does the Wakanda stuff, that editor isn't willing. It's too difficult. They're not going to play ball. Let's cease that relationship. It's over. It's over. I would love for it to come back, but let's not dick around. Like, unless there's an actual.
Nothing's ever over in comic books.
Yeah, but then it's like, what's the point? Sometimes, what's the point? All these characters getting together, then they divorce, and they get like it's. I don't like it at all.
The point is the Black to the Future annuals done by Reginald Hudlin, that I still hope to see come into fruition someday. That's the point for me.
The way that comics move so slowly, we will not be alive when we get to that point in time. When that becomes presence in Marvel Comics, we're not going to be here.
It's got to start somewhere, though. It's got to start somewhere.
Oh man, that's funny.
So
it's also interesting. Is it's not interesting as much as annoying. She assumes he is an imposter.
Mm-hmm.
He's not wearing the same costume as he normally wears, but he's wearing the costume he wears when he's running around with the Avengers. And everyone knows you would assume, everyone would reasonably assume that the Black Panther they see running around with the Avengers is Black Panther. Mm-hmm. Because why would they have a replacement Black Panther for the Avengers? They could care less. They're not in Wakanda.
They've never done that.
So why? So he has his costume with the Avengers, but when he's in Wakanda, people just assume it's a different guy. That doesn't make any sense.
Unless there is a Black Panther that doesn't roam around burning T'Chaka, and that's
which goes back to Byron's statement that there must be some other imposters running around him.
Yeah, I'm gonna correct you for a second because you said it Brian's name Byron for the second
As
time.
Brian.
Brian,
Yeah.
sorry, man.
But in his defense, who the F spells their name Brian that way? Come on now.
Hey, my dad's name's Byron, so we just take the R and the Y. We switched it.
I was talking about your father because I
Yeah.
figured your father and you had this conversation.
Hey, you know what? And that's a good point. And my dad's the one that got me started on all these comic books. So yeah, he needed to know what type of empire he was going to start.
I was intuitively picking up on that.
Yeah, he was reading. So look, the fight comes to an end. Why? Because of a rope. Now this is a telekinetic. This is a a telepathic, super strong, deadly. But no, we tied you up, and that's why we've yield. He keeps telling her to yield. That is a weak.
He was kicking her butt. This is why the way I saw it. It was like, well, he was like, all right, look, I'm not trying not to hurt you. I'm trying not to hurt you. I need you to stop. I'm trying not to hurt you.
Yeah.
Look. And then
so that makes him the more powerful because he was able to do the
M is a lot more powerful than T'Challa. I mean, her nickname is being perfect, right? She's got super strength, invulnerability, ability to fly, telekinetic, and telepathic.
To flying.
She basically has all the power sets that you would want to have.
Does she have like rope immunity? Does she have that?
Does she have what?
Rope immunity.
Because the rope immunity got her real tied up real quick.
And telekinesis that can easily rip rope.
Why was she still tied up?
Yeah. The lasso of Wakanda.
She eventually pulls it apart, right?
No, that was it. They
let her out.
No, she rips it up.
Oh, she does rip it off. When she turns her eyes red.
Right there.
She goes like,
next panel.
Yeah, she turns her eyes red and she goes like this, and then all the rope kind of stops.
Rip right there.
Yeah, okay. That's it.
So why did it temporarily work?
Because she was. Remember what I said at the beginning when I was talking about the cover? She's focusing on restraint. She's focusing on restraint. If she's upset, she can't. T'Challa can't stopping her without a plan ahead of time like Batman. She's mad powerful. All respect to the king. He's my favorite character of all time, but Monet ain't no joke.
I felt like she was attacking him, so he wasn't even trying to hurt her. So
he wasn't. He
wasn't defend himself enough to you're not going to hurt me either.
T'Challa's abilities is not the fact that he's stronger than anybody else because he's not, or faster than anybody else because he's not. It's the fact that he outthinks his opponent. So he would find her weakness and go after that, and that's what caused him to win. But in terms of pure physical powers, she has him beat easily. I mean, that's not even a question.
I got you. So we get some discussing. My father made a deal with Baba Nikisu. Basically says shady guy.
This is where we get to the interesting part, by the way. Go ahead.
Shady guy to do business with. I counseled against it. He ignored me. Has there ever been a relationship between her and her dad that's been played out in comic books?
In the X-Men comics, yeah. When they talked about oh god, I hate talking about Monet's background because it's so friggin' messy. But she has a brother and two sisters. The two sisters are twins. The two sisters actually are the ones who portrayed Monet initially in the Next Generation X comic books. And she was kind of in the penance body. And eventually they all got exiled to limbo, and the brother came back, and it's just so messy. I don't even like wrapping my head around it.
She says,
but they were all they didn't get along with their father. It's a short story.
Okay.
So when she says that Baba would front the money and my father would be the face of legitimacy, that feels weird for her to refer to Baba Nikisu as Baba. She should have said Nikisu. Like Nikisu would front the money and my father would be the face of legitimacy. Like Baba is literally a word for dad. Why would you call somebody else your dad?
I don't know. Maybe she's using it as a colloquialism.
There it is. Got the answers for everything, huh? So he was a titan of our industry and ambassador. Is that the interesting part that you're talking about? You like
the interesting part is the business dealings they talk about off world.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Through some corrupt channels, Baba had access to Wakandan intergalactic travel infrastructure.
What? It's the first time Dr. Ewing's mentioned anything about Wakanda's intergalactic dealings.
I mean, there was a couple of
going back even further. This is the first time we've heard mention of Wakanda's intergalactic dealings, because the last run never even mentioned it at all.
Yeah.
There
I don't
was
think
no
I've
last.
heard of
There
anything.
was,
This
there's
is the
not
first
been a
time we've
run.
heard mentioned since the Coates run of Wakanda's intergalactic dealings.
What other comic book of Black? Oh, you're talking about Black Panther Unconquered? Also, yeah, they didn't mention it. You're right. You're right about that, Paul. The last run.
The only
didn't mention
one, the only one that talked about it was that book that you called me out for because I couldn't remember the name of, the one with
it. Where's Jeffrey Thorne at?
M'Baku. Jeez, now I can't
Last
remember the name of
Annihilation.
it. What was it?
Last Annihilation.
Well, thank you. I can never remember the name of that book, but that's the only book since the Coates run that's ever mentioned anything about the intergalactic empire of Wakanda.
And funny enough, it was saying there was a little editor's note that said, "See Black Panther issue number, number 1
Right.
from
Right.
you know who."
Is that true? Because what?
Okay,
I feel like there was. You're right. It's the only one that mentioned it as a Black Panther comic. But then, when we were talking about what's the one when they're type, I have like the when they're teaming up, with the Blue Marvel and all the
That was
that
Coates.
run.
yeah, that was
That
cool.
was the end of the
But
Coates.
that was
run.
Coates. But no, but the one that wasn't it wasn't Black Panther. It wasn't a Black Panther. It wasn't Intergalactic. It was.
Oh,
I got the
Incoming?
book. I gotta go look through my stuff now.
Incoming.
Man, I wish I didn't even say it now because I now want to be thinking about this all day, going
Well,
through my
at
stuff.
bare minimum, within the Black Panther comics, this is the first mention of the intergalactic empire whatsoever since the Coates run.
So it's one thing for it to be mentioned. What's going on in H&H Comics? What's going on,
But-
Marvel? Please, hello. Don't forget, Limbo is also a dance.
because remember we had interviewed
The Ultimates.
Eve
That's
Ewing
in the
and
Ultimates.
asked her about that, and she dodged that question.
You did say that. Oh yeah.
And so this is the first mention of it. So at
the
some
Ultimates
point,
is the one I'm talking
and
about.
look what the next issue is called.
What is it called?
Look at the last page. Look at the last page.
I didn't even look
Ad
at that.
Astra.
Ad Astra.
Oh, so
Stars.
we're going space. Okay.
Okay, you guys speak that language. What's it mean?
It's Latin.
And what does Ad Astra mean in
Astra.
Latin?
It's like something like to the stars or something like that.
It is like
Astra
of the stars or
Stars.
something like that.
So he talks about
We got some stars that
intergalactic
we're-
crime dealings, and then the next story is called Ad Astra. So maybe we will get into that.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that because that was kind of exciting to me reading
To
in
the
the
stars,
comic.
exactly. It's to the stars. You're right.
So, Brian, what do you think about the intergalactic stuff? There's a crime that's happening, which includes those new planets that are, Wakandan worlds. How do you feel about this? Is that where we're going?
If they go out there so they don't fix the problem at home and we go out to space, I'm not going to like it. I think you have to fix the problem at home first. I don't want to deal with the intergalactic empire of Wakanda until Wakanda is safe and we've given him back at least his title. I don't think that that's the right thing to do because especially the way these comics go. Because if you go out in outer space, we're talking about you could be out there for 10, 15 issues. Like we could be out there for a long time.
Could be.
One of the recurring themes that's always been in Black Panther comics is the fact that T'Challa has never felt comfortable as a ruler. I mean, he dons the trappings and takes advantage of it, but he's always wanting to do other things. He's always been an absent leader, right? The Wakandans are always bitter at him because he's off traipsing around with the Avengers rather than taking care of business at home, which is why they're always having civil wars and rebellions against him. Think about that, the fact that he's emperor. What did he do in that book that I can't ever remember the name of? Chillmonger, the Last Annihilation.
What did he do? I thought it was M'Baku doing everything.
It wasn't until the end. So he goes out into space. He links up with Storm. They have their little argument out in space, and they're repelling whatever they're repelling. I don't remember the storyline off the top of my head, but at the end of the story, he leaves the space and he leaves M'Baku in charge of. He makes him regent of the intergalactic empire. So he goes back to Earth. Have we seen T'Challa go back out into space to deal with anything going out there? No, he's left M'Baku to deal with everything. So for the empire, their emperor is what? Another absent leader, right? So it'd be interesting to see him return out into space and see how they view him. Are they going to have that same theme again of him being an absent leader? And if he has been exiled from Wakanda Prime, Does that mean he's also exiled out of the empire? And if so, when he goes out into the intergalactic realm, is he going to don yet another persona to be an intergalactic panther?
But would that be okay with you to not take care of anything that's here before they go out into space?
No, because my most important concern is this guy returning to kingdom. And if he
Mhm.
to being king, if he can be the emperor, that's a fast forward button into that. So yes, that's way more important than handling things in Burning T'Chaka, which city I didn't even know existed 8 issues ago. I'd rather have him return to the status he is, which is the monarchy, and undo this democracy where people can come in and convince others to and sway their opinions to convince them this is what we need to do. This is what's best. How advanced is Wakanda, and how did they get there through monarchy this whole time? Let's not pretend that the monarchy is flawed.
Yeah, that's one of my key criticisms of the Coates run is a country that is the most advanced in the world. So much so that they've been going on for tens of thousands of years, arguably. And all of a sudden, within one generation, they decide, you know what, we're done with this. We want to try democracy. How's that working out for you so far?
It's opening the borders up to Western ideas.
Trash.
And
Yeah,
who are these
that's the
writers?
problem.
Western writers. Every one of them. And so I don't just blame a writer.
All of a sudden, you
Everyone
got
gets
people
everyone gets the blame. Every single
perming
person.
their hair.
Everybody. Tell me about it,
I'm
Paul.
still bitter about that.
If you are maintaining the status quo of the prior problematic stuff, you deserve equal amount of smoke.
I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree with you.
Or letting it still fester. Like that's a problem. You can't allow
it has to get dealt with. It has to get dealt with.
And this is a slow burn. Like I understand now, how slow this is going. I'm okay with it. But you have to go towards fixing the big problem we have.
She does. She has in some degree, because one thing to her credit, if you look at Burning T'Chaka and the people and the technology and the clothes, even little, I think I one of the things I mentioned was I didn't like the fact that in the previous run for He Who Not Be Named, they had signs in the country that were all in English.
Yeah.
Like,
it just didn't make any sense.
Details. Like Coates literally developed a Wakandan alphabet, which they consistently used, right? And all of a sudden they got English signs in the country. Like you couldn't take the 2 seconds to translate the stuff to make it your reader feel like they're in a foreign country.
Nah.
Why is this guy wearing a westernized, outfit? Why are people permanting their hair and making it blonde? What?
Yeah, you go on
that run was so bad. It's just.
Paul, are you gonna watch that new movie coming out, The Secret Society of Magical Negroes?
It's not on my playlist. I'll leave it at that.
Didn't think so. Yeah.
No.
Didn't sound like.
Oh, but if you want to go see Book of Clarence.
I heard Book of Clarence was good.
Go see Book of Clarence.
I heard Book of Clarence was good.
T'Challa time is about to take a little 5-minute hiatus. All right. Okay, everybody. Hi, this is going to be another video.
Okay.
I'm chilling here with Brian. I'm chilling here with Paul from Black Comic Lords. Brian is from The Spoiler Kings. The new movie that is called The Book of Clarence is a problem to me. I threw it out to a couple other people. K-Dot, Nerdman, we were discussing this. I keep bringing it back because I watched the trailer, and I keep bringing it back to poll representation. That there are very few times where there will be a cast where the lead is melanated like a Lakeith Stanfield, and we get that, a black movie, but then the time period is always in the past, whether that has to do with slavery, whether that has to do with like just segregation or people in a poor status and they all have dark skin, or whether they got to do going back to the past where, I mean, let's think about these characters. Are they using toilets? Are they they're always not seen as, with the exception of Black Panther 2018, amazing, advanced, everything. With the exception of that movie, it's always like unadvanced people, and look, they're all black. If you're gonna put a budget behind these people and do a movie behind these people, the time period needs to be in the present or in the future or something like that for me to really see them and value them as more than just primitive beings. I got a problem with that. Like a lot of movies do that.
I disagree so much because this gives you an opportunity to be able to understand what Egypt was during the time period of what they're in, to understand what this whole Middle East was during this time period that they're in, during the time of Christ. Why are there black people everywhere? What understanding that all of the concepts that we have of what intelligence is and what how do you have this industry and all this stuff was already there, and black people were the hub of it. So it let you know that they were there all the time. So all these stories that you're hearing are not just about commit. Like,
no, but not if the story that I'm hearing
are
though,
not just
if the story that I'm hearing is about an immoral lead character, right? He's not like a shoemaker. This guy isn't doing stuff like he sails boats. His occupation is a criminal.
But that just
right?
tells you that, but it's also Christianity. So it's letting you know that no matter what you
not,
are,
it's not. That's not why he's a criminal. The Christianity.
it's not about why
I
he's
got
a
problems
criminal.
with my blasphemous, the blasphemy of this trailer also, which is what I saw. I got problems there. I interrupted you. Keep going, Brian.
No. I'm listening to what you're saying, but my idea was that it doesn't matter who you are, you could always be saved. It doesn't matter what you're doing, you always could be saved. And everyone around him is not just all criminals, because that's what's going on there. No, he's one man that can be
He's the lead character. This is the one that's going to occupy most of the screen time. And look at the way he is. Let's play the cleric. Let's play the trailer.
Lighten you. Hallelujah. When you see me, say hallelujah. I'm Clarence. Where I'm from, you fight to survive. I'm not a bad person. Just playing the cards I was dealt.
So let me pause it for a second. You're saying because all the decision makers here sitting in this room here, they're all dark skinned and it's like powerful. You're saying these guys here.
Well, to understand that, because I feel like a lot of times for us, they try to to whitewash everything that in the past, even though we were always there. We were always the ones that Egyptians. If you ever been to in the Great Pyramids, if you've ever seen any of these things, they're black. This is a black thing, but they try to erase you.
Just because they're featuring them, and as much as it's been missing.
No, but just like you're not there, but you were there.
Getting a good or getting an accurate point doesn't unprove or tackle any of the issues that they are introducing. No matter how much they get right, this is still a lead character who you're going to see as a scamming person.
There's no I haven't seen this movie, so I don't know what you guys are referencing.
Okay, well,
is there?
Let's play the trailer.
Watch the rest of it.
Paul, we're just reacting to a trailer. None of us have seen it.
Oh,
redemption arc.
Yeah, it's a new trailer. It just came out a month ago. So let's watch.
Movie came out last Friday.
It did come out? Sorry.
Yeah, it's already out.
Still. Mom, one day I'm gonna get you out of here. I have a plan.
Okay, hold on. His mom, I'm gonna get you out of here. I don't care what time period it is, present day, later day. I don't want to view the melanated human beings of this world in that way. Mom, I gotta get you. How about mom's already successful? Mom set him up for a future.
What? It sounds like the same line Anakin Skywalker said to his mother.
Yeah, but Anakin Skywalker and the people of his likeness don't have the same issues that. Why are you laughing? I'm being for real.
No, I mean,
this is reinforcing stuff.
I understand what he's saying, but you have to go see the movie to understand.
I don't need to see the movie to understand. Is his mom poor and is he trying to make a
there are rich black people and there are poor black people because everyone's black.
Is the main character with poor black people? Yes. All right then.
But it's one person's redemption, but there's also rich black people that are there. They're doing the same type of stuff he's doing and going through that same. We all could come.
But that doesn't count. That doesn't counter that the main character that we're experiencing and spending the most amount of screen time is the poor black one.
Brian, you saw the movie already?
I already saw the movie, so I already know what's going on.
So where does the movie take place?
So it does. It is very much Middle East, Egypt type of Somalia. It's all around here. So like, there's a lot of blackness in it, and there is a lot of Middle Eastern stuff, and there's definitely a good redemption arc, and it does deal with a lot with the Messiah. And hearing that, and because
that's my question. Christian, Agent Smith has it. Does this story have to do with Nubians or
not by name?
Not by name. Okay.
Yeah.
Jerusalem, says Tracy Irvin.
So it's very much in the Middle East, like it's throughout the entire.
What are we doing here?
Jesus lives there.
Hallelujah, baby.
So pause. That's not Jesus, right? And you watch the movie. This would be Lakeith's character,
Yeah.
Clarence. Okay.
Yeah.
I still got my problems with the blasphemy of it, but that's, I guess, an individual spiritual kind of religious. That's why let's not use that as a criticism, as I'm just discussing the placement of the movies and the pattern of movies. Not individually this movie's fault, but it's when you combine it and we look at
With
what
the pattern
this,
that we've had, yeah, that's not. Yeah, okay. That has some bearing to it. Yeah, definitely does.
there we go. I'm winning you over slowly. I'll get you by the end of this trailer.
I want to be like that in 10 years.
I want to be like that now. I need to figure out what inspires him. I can just replicate what he does. Imagine the money people will give us.
Hallelujah. Holy shit, I get high as Buddha. Put you on that highway to heaven like I'm your Uber.
Oh, dead one, open your eyes. Elijah.
Well, he's a liar.
What are you trying to?
Why is the main
so
character?
This sounds like almost like a spoof of the mega churches,
It is.
right? That's
It
that's
is.
what I'm getting, is that you have a guy who's like, you know what, this religious racket. I mean, you could make a lot of money here doing this religious thing, this religious stick. If I emulate what this guy does, this Jesus guy, I can make a lot of money. And so that's, for me, that seems like a caricature, a spoof of how you have these mega churches that are pretending to be, servants of God, but are really just sort of focusing on making
Also,
a bunch of money.
it's a
Is
lot
the
of false
act-
prophets. He's a false prophet, right?
False
And
prophet, yes.
and that's what it is using the religion along with racism in the movie. Like it touches a lot of different things, and there's a lot of layers.
Oh, and now it
But in
touches a lot of
in a
different things.
comedian, but in a comedic way, it's a very
The birth of a nation touches race, in a comedic way.
okay.
Is that not
You're
true?
oversimplifying, but okay, I'll let you go ahead.
So, Paul, I have to ask you. Well, you in the mega churches, is the act immoral?
Is what act immoral?
What you just explained, or what you
Is
just last said.
parodying or spoofing what happens in
Not
reality?
not the act of parody and spoofing, the act of manipulating.
Manipulating
money.
people using God's name to get money?
Is that immoral?
Absolutely.
Is the main character of this movie doing that?
Yes.
It appears so. I mean, I'm
Yes.
only looking at the
yes,
trailer,
and
but it
then
appears
in
so.
understanding having
But
people having
they're
crisis
saying there's a
of faith.
redemptive arc. Like maybe he realizes what
yeah.
he's doing is wrong, and
And
he
have
says, you know what, God is actually a real thing, and I shouldn't be using his name, invoking his name
Exactly.
to take money from people. That sounds like,
That's kind of where we are. Yeah.
yeah.
It's not funny. Nothing funny about racism. I was speaking to the people who would enjoy the blackface in that movie.
There's nothing
I didn't
funny
say
about
I
racism.
thought
Have you never seen the movie Blazing Saddles?
I actually never have seen it, and the jaded fanboy tells me to watch it all the time.
Blazing Saddles is a perfect example of how racism can be funny in people's ignorance.
Well,
Not
the
racism, but
Chappelle Show
the
skit,
ignorance that causes racism is funny.
I agree with that, but the act, or the effects of it afterwards,
No, it's
ramifications.
not talking about the effects. Blazing
Yeah.
Saddles is about a bunch of really stupid people that are racist because of their stupidity, and the central character making fun of them for it.
Okay, I think that in Django Unchained, that funny, to me, funny on the horses, but they were wearing the white sheets, and who cut the eyeball holes for the white sheets? It was my wife, and they were having a little,
the argument. Yeah.
That I thought that was funny. Now they were in the middle of what, burning crosses and doing a whole bunch of immoral things.
Then if you found that funny, you should watch Blazing Saddles.
Mm.
It's basic. That's the entire film, is doing stuff like that.
Okay.
And I'm not a nobody.
You find faith, and you will find all
Tiana Taylor's in the movie.
Tiana Taylor's in the movie. Yeah. Look at the clothing that she's wearing. Okay. It's not very. Look, she's got chains on her, which is what perpetuating what now?
You find faith.
If you do crimes, you get the woman. What is that teaching the audience? Come on now.
And you will find all the answers. When you see me, say hallelujah.
Parents, you are guilty of the crime fraud for your own ill-gotten gains.
Forgive me, Jesus
Hey,
of
Professor
Nazareth.
X is in there.
You're right. I don't like this, but again, we're not using a religion to to complain, which I kind of am by mentioning it, right? But anyways.
Yeah, you are.
I will let you walk free.
And I will give you power, wealth,
You be somebody.
Is that Pontius Pilate?
Is that who?
Pontius Pilate?
So it's so funny. You know what? This whole thing reminded me of remember that Black Panther movie we had?
Which one?
From
Well, there's only
2020.
been one Black Panther movie. So
No, not Black Panther as in the character, but the Black Panthers.
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't want to tell people about the movie, but I'm just telling you that's
It's been a couple years. He won an Oscar for it.
No. I'm talking about this movie.
Yeah,
you're gonna feel like you're gonna feel it very much.
Okay.
There is a little bit of it. What's going on?
Okay.
Except it's the ending changes. But I'm gonna make you go out there and do this to discredit something, and then find out, I can't do that.
You're starting to get into spoilery realm there, Brian.
I know. I'm trying to escape without saying anything.
I hear you, but Paul was on code with me. Like, what Black Panther movie? What are you talking about? Right? Give me some.
Wait, which one is
it? Right here.
I die before I give him up to Rome.
Then death it is.
So no snitching which is actually that's a positive trait. I love that. No snitch people. If you guys are gonna get dirty and you're gonna do the crime, then you better keep your lips sealed when it's time to face up for it.
Gonna operate like a corporation. I want my flowers and flower vases. I want carnations. I want begonias. I want petunias and flower coolers. Run! Cause I'm a god, so when you see me, say hallelujah.
Lance, in spite of your selfish ways, there is a beautiful soul in there somewhere.
Oh, David Oyelowo was in the movie too.
And I'm a god, so when you see me, say hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So there's something that I also want to mention. So there are white people in this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every time we see the undermelanated, look at the clothing here from this very dark-skinned, beautiful people. But look at the clothing that they wear, okay? And then let's go look at all of the advanced. Ooh, the shine, the glimmer, Roman or not. When I look at white people in the same movie compared to black people, I see a stark difference, and superiority comes into question subliminally or overtly, either or.
That's the Western thought within their clothing. I think that's not even necessarily what because that's not what they valued at the same time, and it's more of what you need to have in the atmosphere that you live. So that has nothing to do with what that is.
Shout out to Jeffrey Thorne, the comic book writer who's only over here because of Black Comic Lords, checking out my YouTube channel. Salute to you. He said, I'm getting to this guy. See? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's keep watching.
Jeffrey Thorne. Wait, just shameless plug real quick. Did you see this? This is because you left the live before you got to see this from your boy Sean Damian Hill on your Blood Syndicate run. Someday I hope to see you, and I want you to sign that for me. That's it. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
He said again. He said again after you wrote the. No, he didn't. That's the same comment. Let's keep watching this comic book. I mean, this movie trailer. We got like a few seconds left.
Got me intrigued.
I don't like that. Getting items thrown at you. Ugh.
Jesus of Nazareth.
I'm a god, so when you see me, say hallelujah.
I'm destined.
Oh, he just did Neo.
Hallelujah.
I don't care who's on the casting. Honestly, this isn't proper. This isn't the aspirational representation that I'm seeking. And everybody, when Chillmonger comes out with his comic book, there's going to be not this. There's going to be plenty of normal, present. What do you call contemporary? That's the word I'm looking for. It's going to be contemporary, all right? And there's going to be no references to poor. Everyone will be advanced and have, all right? I
don't know, but I think the biggest problem within it is that you have no history. So when someone takes your history and takes your culture and takes all the things that you are, and erases you from the history books, that's when you feel lost because you have nothing to fall back on. So I think that's probably the biggest problem we have within the community. So having things in the past that let you know that you are there, that you are part of this, that you are, the Bible, you were there.
And even in those days, back in those days, you were trying to get your mom out the hood also. So don't dream too.
There's always going to be poor. There's always going to be rich. There's always going to be wealthy. There's always going to be that type of, that's how things are. That's how the things were always been. But you were there. Your culture is not erased. You didn't for us. Your culture and all that stuff didn't start with racism. You were around since the beginning of time. So I think that that's important to know. And having those type of movies that reflect that doesn't erase everything, that it doesn't whitewash everything that happened in Egypt or Jerusalem or all that stuff is important.
It's interesting because I see both your points. For me, when I see period pieces that occur more than 400 years ago, I think it's important for society, particularly children, to understand that race as we know it as a concept in this country, in this world, is only 400 years old. Prior to that, we didn't have these hangups or definitions or
People didn't mix.
colorisms that we
There was
have
no such
today.
thing.
And people that look like us were prominently figured throughout history. And it was there were people that looked like us that were part of the Roman Empire. There were people like us that were
Defeated the
in
Roman
Europe.
Empire that ruled the world as we know it.
Yes, I mean the Moors ruled Spain for what, 300 years, something like that. So from that perspective, when you see period pieces, you want to see films where Black people are there and people aren't thinking about it, like it's not part of the plot.
Normalize it.
And I guess what you don't want to like emphasize, there's nothing but Black people there, and that's not entirely true. There are lots of Black people there, but the whole populace wasn't all Black. You want it to look normal. Well, what is normal from our eyes, right? Because we're so used to seeing films of that time period that are not reality. So our own viewpoint of what is considered normal, what should be considered right, is skewed by what Hollywood has depicted as that time period in that era over the last couple hundred years.
What they've done with Cleopatra, what they've done with anything to do with Egypt, anything to do with the Middle East, anything to do with like what they have whitewashed everything, and then they're telling you that you weren't there, like that. And I feel like that's the biggest problem because like I do my history, my history, my I 32 and me, whatever that stuff, and it only tells me back to 1800. So I've lost my connection with any past that goes on. I know where I'm from, but I have no idea what that means. And I feel like that's a problem. And I think that also ties into that you have no history, that you have that the world has always been ruled by white. It's always been that way, and it hasn't. And for probably more years, it's been ruled by someone that looks more like me than anything else. And it's different. Yeah, probably, yeah. Okay. More, yeah. Okay. Whatever. But just knowing that you have a place in history, that you have had knowledge, that you didn't just live in huts, that you knew the stars, that you built great things, that the industry started with someone who could look like you, so you can be part of it. And when you lose that, you don't feel like you are part of that. Only thing you think of is that I started off with slavery, and that's what history books have told you.
It's important. I live in Florida.
Oh,
and one of the most, it's almost like you almost want to apologize. Exactly. It's like you're almost embarrassed to say I live in Florida because we have a governor who thankfully, or maybe not thankfully, dropped out of the presidential race recently, who has literally made it illegal for various public institutions to teach about diversity and inclusion, and took it a step further. And I just realized this recently, where he talked about public school curriculums and wanting the public school curriculums to focus on Western history more so than anything else. Literally trying to wipe out Black and brown people out of the history books by forcing public schools to only focus on Western history.
Is it true that he also wants to tell you that in slavery, it taught Black people a skill?
That's true.
It taught Black people a skill. That's what it was positive.
That's 100% true. He was trying to say that to get the schools to say it wasn't just slavery wasn't all bad. It taught some slaves were able to learn valuable skills through slavery, not the concept of some people were able to thrive despite the evils of slavery. It was kind of like, oh, slavery was almost like a vocational retraining program. I mean, this is the evil that we're dealing with in the state. But I digress. The point is, the thing about history, and to bring this to a comic book reference, because Black comic book, this is what we do, right? There was this comic book about Anansi that Milestone did, and in the comic book, Anansi describes his powers, and he says, I tell stories. And the thing about telling stories is that when you're telling stories, you get to shape reality. And that's what history is. Those who define history determine people's realities because they determine people's perceptions of themselves and other people. And that's what makes what Governor DeSantis so insidious, what he's doing so insidious, because he's trying to influence the minds of our youth and shape their perceptions of themselves and the people around them for all time. For all time. And so for them, their reality is Black people's history started with chains on slave ships.
Exactly.
That's it. All of what you just saw in that Book of Clarence, that stuff didn't happen. There's no way that could possibly happen. There weren't Black people wearing gold and had crowns on their heads, and had high positions and were learning sciences and had a library in Timbuktu, which people from all around the world came to learn how to sail ships and etc. None of that exists. None of that exists. And you're not going to learn that in a public education in the state of Florida. So, yeah, kind of important.
When Brian mentioned Cleopatra, I smirked. Me and Paul spent like an hour off of a stream discussing the Cleopatra thing. I'm not going to discuss it now. And there's a comment here that says all utopias have a ghetto, period, point blank. I'm gonna leave it with this, Brian. You saw the movie. My complaints, my criticisms. After you've seen the movie, did you leave with a positive vibe? How did you feel coming out of the movie? Give it your recommendation. Go.
I would say this. I saw it and I felt that I was very happy to see melanated people all throughout the movie, and understanding that in that area, once again saying that we were there, not just there, but we were the integral part of it. But as a Christian, also, I was very happy to see, it doesn't matter who you are, you can all be saved. Just like the person who was on the cross next to Jesus, was like, do you believe that I'm, God's son? Like you can always be redeemed. I love that too. So on different levels, I can enjoy something. As a Black man and also as a Christian, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. It was well done, and it wasn't. The things you saying are not like you're not pulling out of thin air, But I think they did it well. And I think at the end of the day, the moral of the story is important.
Subscribe to Spoiler Kings. Subscribe to Black Comic Lords. Subscribe to Chillmonger. You probably should be subscribed when you're watching my channel. Are you not? Are you one of those people? You guys watch those YouTube videos where they say, "Are you one of the 5% who don't subscribe? Look at this," and they show their charts. Yeah, check us out. We're out. Peace. Let's get back to this comic book review. Yeah. Comic book. What page were we on? We're in the middle.
Oh, we're going back to comic book review.
Yeah, we're back to comic book. We're at this page here. So to the artwork, speaking on the beautiful artwork, I could tell Christopher Allen, he's the detailed guy. And I feel like Mac Chater, he's a little less detailed. And I think I know who did what. I think when they were on the train,
the train was Chris Allen.
I was about to say Mac Chater, but all right.
You think so?
I think so. I don't know. You probably have a reason and I have my reason. I'm looking at details.
All I know is whoever did the train thing, that was brilliant artwork. I love that, the train scene.
The way that you could tell it was moving really fast, or do you mean interiors?
No, I meant like the scenes where they're depicting T'Challa and Besa and they're having a conversation on that page. I thought that artwork was beautiful.
I see what you mean. It
is beautiful. It's very telling.
The coloring too.
Jesus.
The coloring and everything.
Jesus Abrutav does this thing when it comes to the coloring, but are you complimenting the coloring more than you're complimenting the line art?
Well, I think it all goes hand in hand. I'm just saying the art in general is enjoyed those panels.
All right.
I enjoy all the purple ones too, because I mean, I feel like when you have one color, but to give it so much detail within that one color, to really be able to see the beauty and the integral details of all of it, I thought that was really well. In telling the different people just from it, I thought that was so dope.
And there were words on that page where we see Babu Nikisu speaking to, what's her name? Alenia?
Yeah, Alenia.
Speaking to Alenia in her sleep, providing nightmares, except the nightmares are real, which I was glad to see. I don't like those dream sequences or kind of like conversations with my spirit and then now they're guiding me and it takes like 5 pages out of a comic. No, this actually happened. He was actually speaking to her. Brian, was that Baba Nikisu for real or was this a trick being played by Kivuma?
I think it's keep them on. I mean, I really do. It still was, a trick overall. But she's so, wanting more, wanting to talk to her father, wanting to do that she's just going ahead and going on with the story because she wants to believe that is him. But it's keep them on. I mean,
yeah, I agree. I think it's Kivuma being
That
able to
makes
see.
3 of us. Hey, did T'Challa ever meet Monica Rambeau? They've met before. That comic book issue I was thinking about, issue 25 of Black Panther, Ta-Nehisi Coates. They've
I
met.
would say the issue that you want, one of the coolest issues ever was in the Hudlin run. And if I can remember, hold on. You guys keep going, and I'll try to remember the name.
Is
of
the
it.
one where she's fighting Killmonger and something spectacular
No,
happens?
it's the one where they're fighting vampires in New Orleans, which is where Monica Rambeau's from.
Oh,
And
yeah.
T'Challa goes to her and says, I see you use your powers and it makes me sad. And she's like, she's like, why? He's like, you wield your powers like a 6-shooter where you have the powers of the gods and elements. You're a goddess. You should act like it. It was like one of the coldest lines. And she's looking at him like, oh my God, that's some good ass game.
That was Hudlin. Hudlin was taking a shot at every other writer who has been able to use that character and doesn't use that character. When I was
It's
reading
issue
Fote,
13.
it's 13. And when I was using
This one.
Fote, there we go.
I can see what. Oh yeah, I got that one. Okay, go look at that.
Yeah, that issue.
I got that in a trade, but I don't got it like Brian got it.
Highly recommend you have that. That was a dope ass issue.
Mm-hmm.
Great team up too. Blade, Monica, Luke Cage.
Oh, I love that one. Okay.
Black Panther, and Brother Voodoo.
Bo Big says Hudland told Monica, "Sister, you are a goddess."
Right. One of the first people to recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, the version we have in the Marvels movie is I can
lesser.
see the whole spectrum of the light. I'm like, oh my God.
And combine 2 universes from Incursion,
Yeah.
Let's not forget that at the end of the movie.
Lord. They watered
Couldn't learn to fly, but flew right away. Let's give them some. Monica flew, right? One try. That's all it took.
Took a little goddess and made her a LED light.
Wow.
I know more than a few fans shipped T'Challa and Monica. They've shipped T'Challa and everybody. There's somebody who saw this cover and now they're upset reading the comic because they didn't get it on. Everyone ships everybody.
Monet's probably 22 years old, and T'Challa's a good 38. Bit of a May December romance.
Thoughts on the T'Challa and Blade team up series? And if I have a NM of what?
A near mint of Black Panther number 12 by Hudlin, should I get it graded? I mean, does it have value? I think I'm a Black comic lord, so I'm going to say yes, only because it's one of the few big time Black team ups you see in comics, where it's a completely all Black team up. That doesn't happen that often in Marvel Comics.
T'Challa returns as King of Earthbound Wakanda in late 2025. Thoughts? He's not
Do you
talking
have
movies.
insider information we don't know about?
Oh, he's asking.
Dude, that's so long. I guess I'll be okay, but that's a long time. That means
in comics,
at
that's
least
a long time.
You know,
It's
you talking
like
about
24
another
issues.
12 more issues? Like, what? That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it to issue number 9. Okay, everybody, I'll take it issue number 9. Baba Nikisu, we all agree, is not actually Baba Nikisu. This is Kivuma getting his long revenge based off of what we saw with King Matillion in that issue that took place in the past. That was all started there, and here we go. When Kivuma gets to fighting T'Challa, I want some more exquisites, more than just scratch here, hit you back. I think in this fight, T'Challa throws like a dart of vibranium on like against that red diamond, which kind of was the most effective maneuver he threw.
What was interesting is in that origin issue, was it issue 6?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Telly had to use sorcery to help defeat Kivuma, right?
I noticed.
So is T'Challa going to also have to use sorcery to defeat Kuvuma? And hopefully, I really hope this is true. Eve Ewing decides to get into
Uh-huh.
the mysticism of Wakanda. I've
Zawafari.
mentioned Zawavari, hell, bring in Dr. Voodoo if you want to, but certainly Zawavari. But moreover, what did we recently learn? One of the few good things, and it pains me to say this on a live.
You better not say the name of that guy.
I'm not. Oh, I'll never say the name of the guy online. I'll never do that again. But one of the few good things I can say about who shall not be named is he did
Esquire.
introduce the concept of this witch sect in Wakanda, right? The sisters.
Okay. Okay.
So it would be interesting if Eve Ewing decided to run with that and introduce those sisters again, to help T'Challa defeat Kivuma.
You're
right. It would be interesting.
It would.
I mean, I guess if you're undoing what was done, and you use a concept that came out of your run to undo what you're doing, still giving respect to, because it seems like Dr. Eve Ewing is
right.
Always gives respect.
As long
to
as she doesn't
on.
try to redo the Buffalo Soldier thing, I never want to see that character ever again. We're cool.
And I'd say every passing month that this man is not the king is honoring human garbage himself, who wrote an Esquire
you gotta
article.
build it up into a crescendo, man. It's got to be it's the hero's journey, right? That's what we're going through right now, the hero's journey. This issue was a big step where T'Challa's like, here's the thing, and I mentioned this in our live on Friday. To her credit, the concept of breaking down T'Challa to build him back up is not new.
Mm-hmm.
Coates did it. Priest did it. Priest did it twice, right? It's not a new concept, but the difference is T'Challa has always been searching for himself outside of Wakanda. Even his first excursions, he goes out, recruits the Fantastic Four, brings them to Wakanda, then follows by going out and becoming an Avenger when he meets up with Captain America. He's always trying to find out who he is by testing himself with people from without. Mm-hmm. This is the very first time we've seen T'Challa trying to redefine himself, probably since maybe Jungle Action within Wakanda himself. But even in Jungle Action, a lot of that took place. The major storyline telling was in his Golden City, and then he'd go to like the outlying places where the dinosaurs and stuff like that. But in terms of being day to day with people of the Wakandan people, this is the first time T'Challa has tried to redefine himself and find out who he is without the trappings of being a Black Panther, without the trappings of being the king. That Ike character is very important in that regard. We talked about the cover that you showed me, Chillmonger, right? Where I'm saying this is how he's trying to redefine, not that one, the previous one, where you have Ike on the cover and you've got the big image of the Black Panther, the silhouette. He's living in the shadow of the Black Panther, but how is he when he's just himself and he's amongst the people? Who is he when he doesn't have the vestiges and the trappings of being the king and the Black Panther and all of that, all the money and the tech and the power? she is really doing a true breakdown as to who the guy is. And that speech that he has on the train with Besa is sort of
Said
the
that,
first
yeah.
step indicative of that. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's a slow burn. I know everybody wants to jump into it because we still have the taste of that prior run in our mouth. But I think she's marinating the food.
I have the taste of something very recent in my mouth, and it's when Captain Marvel in the first issue of Avengers says, "Oh, T'Challa, you're an Avenger again." If it was going to be done, and they wanted it to be done enough, you guys hear the click my finger go on our wall with me? I'm clicking my finger, Paul.
But she does. But she does, to her credit, say,
I said,
"Why?" When Sam says, why are you bringing that dude back?" She goes, "Because he's the most dangerous man alive." Tell me that wasn't a cold ass line, though.
I mean, you
yeah.
can say, but can they still instantly return the king back to king status? Yeah.
They don't care
but
about him
I
being
also think I like what you're saying, but because of what's happened before, the run before, whatever, because of what happened, every issue prolongs, like other people's thoughts that this is what he's supposed to be, and you're almost ruining the fan base of people that maybe only started then. They don't know what T'Challa is supposed to be.
No, they know the movie.
Yeah, well, I guess, but you have to. I think you have to undo all this. You have to at least let him go through his journey, let him go through this growth, and then by issue 12, I need him back in the Golden City. I need him, doing something. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of time. By 12 issues, that means we gave you almost a year. So like you got to do something.
What I would like to see in terms of the hero's journey is history repeating itself. I would love to see T'Challa's journey to be that of Bashenga's. Bashenga, I mean, we know Mosey was the first one to get the heart-shaped herb and have the powers of the Black Panther, but Bashenga is the one who first founded Wakanda, brought the tribes together, right? And became the first king of Wakanda. Prior to that, Wakanda was warring factions, which is what we see in Wakanda now, right? You got democracy, and it's all chaos, is what the people are always complaining about. Dr. Ewing has these people always talking when he's in his EK role, and he's talking and he's listening to the people. They're all grumbling about how sucky the country is now, and so it's a country that's ripe for another revolution or uprising or what have you. Mm-hmm. And it would be interesting to have him as this outsider. Nobody knows who he is. Do something heroic, whether it be repel an invasion or stop a big bad, or Kivu Ma takes over the country and he defeats them. Everybody sees it publicly and says, "That's the guy we should be following." And it pulls off his helmet and it's revealed that it's T'Challa. And it's like, we want you to be our king again, just the same way Bashenga did, And then you've got the hero's journey where it's emulating how Bashenga was able to unite the country under one rule with one leader, and let's get rid of this stupid democracy thing and go back to what's worked for us for 10,000 years, which is being a parliamentary monarchy or benevolent monarchy.
Beautiful. Right. But how long does that gotta take?
Another 12 issues.
Oh my. Oh my goodness. That I will be, if we get to 15 and something like that, I am going to go crazy. Like we need to undo this.
15 is your breaking point. That's your line in the sand.
15. I'm gonna start calling people. Like, look, can you get in touch? Paul, I'll be calling. Like, can we figure out something? Let's talk.
The last guy had 15 issues to completely destroy this character. I think you should at least give Dr. Ewing 15 issues to fix the damage. Remember, it's a lot easier to destroy than it is to build, right?
Yeah. You said you should give 15 issues.
I know you didn't mean the plural you.
Yeah, and I know you don't mean that, but it's not based on anything but comic book sales. If it's a toilet, because enough people said, "Oh, he's not the king of Wakanda anymore." I don't recognize this character. Who's T'Charlie? And they just don't buy the book. That's what's gonna happen. Every now and again, I pull up the sales charts on Comic Book Revolution, and that's what we're gonna do now. Stay with me.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right.
I'm curious to see how the sales of this run is in comparison to the last one.
Well, yeah,
me too.
It may not be up to speed. Like I might not get the data for issue number 7, but however, Comic Revolution.
Because arguably the last one had the benefit in sales from sort of the MCU presence.
And the movies and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But then they killed the main character of the franchise, so that's not going to happen here for Dr. Ewan.
There was curiosity as to what they're going to do in the comic books because they decided to not recast T'Challa.
Control F, Black Panther. And he'll tell us, there it is. It's the 174th highest selling comic for issue number 7, which is cancellation territory. So let me announce that better because I was editing, so I trimmed all of that out of my full version of the video. So it's at the 174th.
Wow, that's not good.
Of all of the Avengers characters,
because
like
look,
Captain America,
that Avengers title that has already been
number
canceled.
8, that's already been canceled, huh? Well, for
no,
Avengers,
not the Avengers. The what do you call it? Avengers.
Twilight.
Not Twilight. There is that other one.
Is it somewhere here? Avengers Inc.
Inc. That one just got canceled.
Okay, but there's different writers who get different pays. The payout for Dr. Ewan isn't the same writing that's going to who's doing Immortal Thor. Is that Al Ewing?
I believe so.
You know what I'm trying to say, right? So it doesn't need to make huge numbers, but maybe Avengers Inc. and whoever was doing that one.
How much faith are they going to give Dr. Ewing? How much room to grow are they going to give?
Depends on the payment, which we all know without having to ask. She isn't getting paid that quality of dollar.
Right.
So so long as the cost of producing these comics is high, or rather, you know what I mean. You guys know what I'm trying to say, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
All right, it's the 174th comic book though. That's cancellation territory. So when we reach issue 10, which we will, I don't know if issue number 11, has been in the solicits yet, because we're at issue number 8. When I see 11 in the solicits, I'm going to say, "Woof!" It means we're at least getting to 15, and that'll be in it.
Let me take a look at how far we are in the solicits.
Okay,
that was interesting to see. Luke Cage, that run is 119, almost 60 slots ahead. Like, wow, that's the Game War 2. Oh,
I mean like a tie-in.
No, so the Luke Cage is at 119.
Yeah, but it's a tie-in comic book. It's
yeah.
I understand why people wouldn't be, or the comic book stores wouldn't be pre-ordering issue number 2.
What issue are we up to right now? 9?
We're on 8.
This is 8 right now.
So the solicits only go up to issue 10.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of worrisome, but I think maybe this will be the week. So let's keep waiting to see whether or not we've been canceled or not.
Oh, wow. Did you read the solicit for issue 10? This is the only last issue they have a solicit for. It says, a final confrontation against the Grey Wolf. After discarding Baba Nkusu, the Grey Wolf has found a new host, the crime lord's daughter, Alina Ninkusu.
I can kind of see it going there.
See that coming. Yeah.
To defeat a supernatural power so great and to save Alina from the Grey Wolf, Eater of Souls, Black Panther must call upon the aid of allies new and old. That goes back to what we were talking about with Zavari and Brother Voodoo.
Yep. That'd be nice.
Or the witches or any, bring it in.
As much as we're like, I can see where that goes. Both me and Brian are not complaining that it's predictable, right?
No, it's fine. I just your main concept, like there's micro stuff that you're doing, and your macro thing is to replace, to get them back there. Get them back as the emperor. That's what we need. We need a king. We need a king, and that's where we need to get to. And even so, that by 10 is not happening. So I'm hoping whatever happens at 10, that we get the extra 5 issues so we can get something going.
It kind of sounds like they're gonna make Kivu Ma a new villain called the Grey Wolf.
Nah, they've used the word Grey Wolf before for him. They call him Grey Wolf in the the write-up right in the front pages of the comic book.
Did they?
In this thing here, yeah. It says, and
so is that his name now? Is the Grey Wolf?
That's his real name. Kivu Ma's just,
I think the Grey Wolf was his thing when he was a member of the
crime lord.
Yeah.
No, when he was a Hatuzarazi. I think that was.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Back in 5 when they're talking about it, he called him the because it was like the mystery of the Grey Wolf, whatever. So that's why Grey Wolf is him. Is he?
Damn, I'm trying to skim through it and I'm skipping words. I didn't find it. No. There it is. The dark spirit Kivuma, aka the Great Wolf, had already eliminated him. Yeah, so they do use it.
Yeah,
And
so he's gonna be known as the Gray Wolf,
Mhm.
and that'll be his new nemesis, I guess. So she's adding to the Rogues Gallery, which is always a good thing.
adding is good, but solidifying prior ones would be better.
Yeah,
You
I'm a
agree?
little disturbed by the fact that there's only
Yeah, there's only 10
two
there,
issues in
and a slow burn works as long as he's getting the sales.
I'm not worried because I've seen long breaks between comic books before, 2 months breaks, and so I won't worry yet. But if it does get canceled and we're not king status,
Look,
Hmm.
solicits are usually done a good 3, even 4 months in advance. That issue 10 comes out in March.
so
So
January.
that's the fact that they don't have any more books after 10. That worries me a little bit.
Is anything out for April yet?
No, oh no, for
That's because this week those
No.
will get announced. We were shooting this right now on the 21st. This is the week where we'll start hearing about solicits for what happens in April.
we'll see. Let's have this conversation again next week and see if there's solicits for April. If there's
All
no
we can do is
solicits for
hope.
April, then
Yeah.
we should be concerned.
Because the 10 comes out March 20th, so we have nothing past March 20th.
You know why
Yeah.
they won't announce that it's been canceled if it is canceled? Because that would make guys lose
Sales.
enthusiasm, and then the books are just laying on the shelves, which isn't even. It's not even Marvel that's going to eat that. It's going to be the comic book stores.
Yep.
Mhm.
Who aren't ordering a whole lot of them because they continue to go, run out of stock.
You look, it all comes down to return on investment. At every trade paperback volume point, there is probably a continue or a stop determination. That is what I'm
Right.
saying. 10,
That
15.
10 would be the number because they do the trade paperbacks in issues of 5. So that would be the end point for trade paperback number 2.
Oh, man.
So this is it. All of you
Go out and
Black
buy.
Panther fan group people, all of you Black Panther fans, I would highly suggest that if you wish this book to continue, if you wish this book to go beyond issue 10, you better start hitting up these pre-orders. I know you're tired of hearing Black Comic Lords talk about pre-orders, but this is, if you love this character and you want to see this book continue, you better go to your LCS and start doing some pre-orders right now, because the sales numbers are not there for Black Panther, and there are no solicits at this time beyond issue number 10, which is in 2 months.
If you're tired of Black Comic Lords telling you to pre-order, how about Brian telling you to pre-order?
Guys, you have to go to your store. I don't care if you got to call them, whatever you have to do. You need to get this pre-order on now. This is what we can't get past 10. We have to. We know the storyline. If the last one got 15, we have to make sure we give it the opportunity to do what it needs to do and then return to T'Challa.
That's
We need
absurd that the last one got 15 and this one, which is clearly a better run, only has 10.
It's got nothing to do with the quality of the writing. It's got more to do with, I opened the comic book pages. This is not the King of Wakanda. Thank you. Next.
Mm.
Or we're worrying a lot. Okay, let's
Maybe,
go.
yeah, maybe it's nothing.
We'll know after next week. If there's an issue 11, then we know that at
we're
least,
okay. But
we might be okay.
Not seeing anything right now really does bother me. I don't know.
We got a little moment from Faiza about mental health advocacy, which is always cool, and everyone should be taking care of themselves. I don't care if you're a man or you man up or whatnot. Just little mentions here and there, and little reminders to take care of yourself, and that is positivity that's being promoted in this comic book. Okay?
Not finding out there's not an issue 11, the Black Panther is not doing well for my mental health.
But the best. So she's speaking to Niobe again with Niobe. Level 3 on suspicion of whether or not he's a good guy or bad guy. But when he kind of leaves her, we see him, and I love the way that the art kind of depicted this moment also, and you can see like the reflection and coming out of the floor. You can see the reflection coming out the floor. You see his face, the sudden realization. I love it. This is an art-focused concept, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Lonzo Starr. But Lonzo Starr, when he was doing Acolyte issue number 2, I was like man, what a writer! What a like a guy who writes his stuff and has the writing do the work. As a poet, look, I'm gonna criticize this, or I'm not criticize, but I'm gonna bring his attention. There was a moment when I was reading this guy's comic where he says, "There are no heroes, only heroic decisions." Edward Snowden, right?
Yes.
And then he says,
that's
"I
good.
felt that." And you see these are the images though. As I was reading those, right? Like I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. There's no hero. All that stuff happens here. Now
It is
during
so
that,
funny that you bring that up because I
can
was
I just
literally
finish my
going to do
thought
a
though, Paul?
post on that.
Let me finish my thought. This image isn't really anything to do with his words, right? It's just him flying, 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 flying. That's a writer. That's a writer dictated or a writer driven kind of comic book. And Eve Ewing has a artsy way. Like she thinks with the right side of her brain, not left type thing is what I'm trying to say. Even though I had no data to back that up. That's what I detect. Go ahead, Paul.
No, I was just saying that's funny. You should bring up that page because I was literally going to make a post on that page.
You liked
about
it, right?
that particular page. Yeah, I love that page.
I like the words, not the art. Like they could have been doing anything in the artwork. He could have been smoking. He could have been eating ice cream. He could have been doing anything. But the words were where the story was moving the story. Lonzo, are you still here? Is Derek still here? Concrete Comics. Everyone, go check them out and read them. I'm surprised.
I had literally taken a picture of me reading it.
Oh yeah,
because I was going to do a post on it on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you. All right. Okay. Can I ask you guys a question real quick? Are you worried that the Ultimate Black Panther #1 comes out in April?
And not February?
Yeah. Well, it comes out in April, and we only got issue 10, which is March.
Brian's connecting the dots.
Oh yeah.
Oh crap.
Is this going to be the new Black Panther?
Oh.
Is this going to be our only Black Panther? I mean, is this going to be our only Black Panther in April?
I thought we were going to get 2 runs at the same time. I thought that this might be what's going on. Dude, if we... oh, my God.
You know, the way I get the variant cover and everything, I probably won't for Ultimate Black Panther. I think I'm just going to get one comic book for Ultimate because it's not the canon, you know? They got rid of the old Ultimate Universe. They'll get rid of this one, too. I don't feel the same sort of love, but I'll check it out. And I know that the audience want me to do it, right? T'Challa Time will cover the Ultimate series if this one goes away, okay? You'll be reading it, Brian?
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. I already have it pre-ordered. It's on, my pull list is already together. But no, I'm worried. That worries me more.
You kind of shook me with that. Y'all shouldn't have brought that up to me. Now I'm a little upset.
Sorry.
I'm a little upset. I didn't realize that they didn't have any issues past 10.
Okay. Reading some of this conversation with Besa, I have learned to be more humble than I ever thought possible. Paradoxically, I feel stronger than I ever thought possible. This woman made T'Challa say paradoxically. Okay.
No, that's... Hey,
no, I mean, look, the writing is... Look, one of the first videos me and Mark did when we were criticizing the last run, reviewing the last run was this voice does not sound like T'Challa at all. Like these Western colloquialisms he's using, and he sounds very mulish mouth. Just T'Challa sounds like what he is, which is a smart man, an intelligent, well-educated man under Dr. Ewing's run.
Without your crown, your power, your elite technology and weapons, the protection of your family, that's just it, Natima. Look, first name basis already. It's not Besa no more. Well, you know, maybe there could be someone else on the train, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the Natima code words. A little subtle sound awareness of T'Challa. I thought those things defined what I was, who I was. Had you met me and asked, "Who are you?" I would have said, "I am the king of a great nation." And now, who are you? I am T'Challa, and I am so much more than my throne. If you want to see what Paul thought about that, Wakanda, Whiskey, and Blurdom. If you want to know what Chill thought about that, his review is up. Spoiler Kings, what's your opinion on that line about I am T'Challa and I'm so much more than my throne? If you were to ask me then, but you can ask me now, that's what your answer is.
Yeah, very worrisome. That was for me. I know what we're trying to get to the point where, you know, hey, he's growing, he's doing more. the fact that he's more than his throne seems to me like you're saying he doesn't need the throne or the throne, to be who he is. And I worry that we're not going to get a returning him to his throne because he's going to continue to grow and be more. Being Black Panther, being T'Challa is more than that. I'm okay with not having it. I worry that we're not going to get what we really need.
So instead of looking at it as the mantle doesn't define me positive thing, but it's more so of, oh, look, they are separating
Foreshadowing?
his attachments.
Foreshadowing that he's not going to be the king again.
Yeah,
it's funny. Shout out to all three of us for having different takes on that moment.
The Avengers title on the first page, the first splash page, they define all the Avengers. Iron Man's the engineer, Sam Wilson's the Patriot, Captain Marvel's a star, etc., etc. You get to T'Challa, refer to him as the king.
Mm-hmm.
They still refer to him as the king in Avengers.
Yeah, because they don't read the Black Panther comic book.
Yeah, they don't. they're the reason why it's down where we are right now.
They rather focus on him being really the Black Panther, not whatever is going on in that Black Panther book being run by Will Moss. One question about the train scene, though, that I like so much. T'Challa's supposed to be exiled from Wakanda, but he's on a public train with no mask on.
No,
he's in a private car.
Yeah, in the private car, he's got no mask on. But if you look at right before he gets inside of the car, they made sure to show you that he was still in his masked up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I must have missed that.
He was covered. He was covered.
He was covered.
I skimmed over that part. Okay.
You also missed my review where I brought that up also. Shout out to you. Shout out to the Black Comic Lords for not checking out my channel, even though I check out theirs.
But I did promote your channel.
Yeah, I heard. Okay. Yeah, you took care of me. All right. We'll remain being friends for now.
For now.
Jesus. Buckmeister Cool says, "Was up, gents? Sorry I missed it. We're still reviewing the comic, Buck. If you want to join the live stream, you got the link. But just make sure you're wearing the
alias is Meister Geek Media. I didn't know that.
Think about how young he is. He probably made that like years ago, where he thought that was cool. It's not cool now, and we'll tell you that because we love you. But yeah,
that's definitely his picture there. I didn't see that.
That's him. Yeah, he's got another one called Buckmeister Reacts. This is his other YouTube channel name. And he's on Twitter tweeting recast T'Challa. I bet if I go right now,
he's probably gonna have one right now.
He just tweeted recast before he even messaged us here. He was like, "What am I going to talk about recast today?" I promise you. Hashtag recast T'Challa. The first tweet that's going to come up when I look at latest is going to be his. Good thing I'm editing because this is like dead air. Here. First tweet that we're going to see from the latest tweets, recast T'Challa. It was, oh no, it was somebody else.
Oh,
it was from,
look at that.
It was from Miss Trinidad's smooth baby thigh. She says, I admit I care too much about recast T'Challa. I care too much about Black representation in fantasy. I care too much about the memory of one of my favorite actors of any race, any age, and gender. I care way too goddamn much to see y'all lie on Eli's musty bird app.
Damn.
Okay. Oh man, that's crazy. Oh, good job. Okay. Bring it full circle. I like how you do that.
Let me tag the trailer also. I think Buckmeister Cool just joined us. Hold on. There you are. Hey there.
What's up?
Buckmeister.
What's
Bombay?
up?
Hello. So we were like halfway into the comic book.
I'm sorry I'm late. Jesus.
Yes, sir. You just
what
got
time is it over there in South Africa?
7 hours ahead of Eastern.
Oh God.
7 hours ahead. So
2?
Yeah.
3 in the morning?
Well, there's sunlight there.
Or he's got a really bright LED light next to him.
It's like 2 o'clock.
It's 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Shoot. Well.
Yeah, it's like 2 a.m. in the morning.
So is his sound not synced with his video?
Can you guys hear me? Or am
yes, we hear you.
Yeah, you're good.
You're just late. Everything you say is delayed, but that's fine. We're gonna wait for you to speak, and we'll let you just kind of go. Okay.
Let me leave.
Oh yeah, I guess that works too. You could try that out too. So, you guys remember to hit the thumbs up. Black Comic Lords is where you can find us right now, or on Facebook if you're not on YouTube, right? Check us out, show some love, and support all of us. That'd be appreciated. Back to this. So I'm gonna tweet this one the link also, and I want you to know exactly what she says when she looks at that. She's gonna say, "My fantasy needs to. I care too much." She's gonna say. Ooh, he left and he tweeted this.
Wow.
He left just to tweet this. You see, this man had an opportunity. This man. All right, chill. I'm gonna leave him. Head out. But let me just real quick. Buckmeister.
And he's coming back.
What's going on?
He did a drive-by tweet.
Recast T'Challa. If Recast T'Challa was a human being, it would look like this.
Exactly.
So give us your take so far on
my man did a drive-by tweet.
on the most recent comic book issue. We kind of talked about the fighting between himself and Monet. We're kind of on the train scene. What is your opinion on the train scene where he's saying, like, if you would have asked me back then, I would have told you I'm the king of a nation, right? That's how I would describe myself. That was his primary descriptor. But now he's so much more. What do you think about that, Buckmeister Cool?
Can he hear us? I don't think he heard us.
Still delayed?
You are still delayed, but just go whenever you hear me saying to just go. And when I edit the video up, there won't be a delay, okay?
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you heard the question though.
All right, cool. With the train scene, right? Yeah, I heard the question. Yes, I can hear everybody fine. I think I'm still delayed, but whatever. With the train scene, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with the train scene, right? I like the thing is, we've seen this before, so it's not the worst thing. Like I've seen this in Jungle Action. I've seen this in Lys's Run. I've seen this, it's like we saw it would do more. So I get that, characters have repeating themes. I think it was okay. It wasn't like the groundbreaking. It's not like, oh my God.
Sorry, it's more than just a lag. I think how do I explain this? It's like your audio is also cutting in and cutting out.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I think we'll make it work in the video portion. Just stick around. I'll ask you another one because the next part of this review is more so about Niobe. So I'm gonna ask you right now, Buckmeister Cool, about the Niobe portion of the comic where he's just like minding his own business. There's some dudes in a van. Hello, stranger. So he's alone. It's not like he's acting
All right,
for.
let me check out.
It's not like he's acting or anything like that. He really got mugged. He really got thrown in the back of a van, and there's a whole bunch of suspicious looking people in a hologram, right? Like this green ass hologram. So when I'm done talking, I want you to just go uninterrupted and talk about how your reply to this. It says, "Congratulations to each of you on your new employment. You'll be helping the illustrious Ilonga family with a very special project." What do you think?
The scene was cool. I did like I do like, like the art in it is phenomenal for one. I really like how this was drawn and everything. Uh, I'm wondering what the Ilonga family want with these because it looks like a bunch of regular citizens, and like Kivuma is not part of the Ilonga family stuff. I think he's like something like he's part of the Nikisus. So I
So Brian, what I heard him say was Kivuma's not part of the Ilonga family. He's part of the Nikisus, and then he kind of cut out right there.
Yeah, that's the
But
last thing I
what do you
heard.
think about that? So yeah, this is definitely an Ilonga family thing, right, Brian?
It definitely is, and I was wondering why were they kidnapping him, and throw him in the van, and then what exactly is their end game? Is he been saying too much? Has he been doing too much good, and they need to control that? So now this is going to be a side story that T'Challa's going to have to go back and fix
Il-
beforehand.
Ilonga family is fighting for relevance. It's all about the Nikisu. They're way more important to me. They've got the mystical Kivuma.
Mhm.
We just read the solicits for issue number 10. So I do believe that there's gonna be more of a impact coming from those guys than there is coming from these guys. I
Then
know
why
Ultimate.
do we doing? Then why are they doing that? Do you think?
No, they're just trying to keep relevant, I guess, and the world building of it. There are too many characters in this little storyline for me to. There's too many characters for me, period.
Mhm.
And I just like whatever, guys, whatever. Okay, Dr. Eve Ewing, 10 issues deep. Maybe you get canceled because the child has not returned to being the king, and the reader interest has decreased. Maybe it's not even her fault. Maybe it was coming from Will Moss. So let's not blame the writer completely. It could just be just like an edict. Oh, you're not gonna be the king because that's what they're doing in the movies, so we can't do it here. I don't know. I don't know that. Chillmonger, so I need to send you shade alert clip. Yeah. I'm throwing,
Oh,
I'm throwing a lot. Call back to Friday. So the question here is, I know Ultimate BP may not be canon, but if it ends up being a great series, would you thought say, no, listen, it happens in a different universe. It's canon to that different universe. It happens within the multiverse that is Marvel, but it's just not the 220 issue deep, investment that I have. And so I don't view it that way. It's an ultimate comic. Comics are dope. I cared more about the relationship implications of the train scene than the thrones implications.
Oh, here we go.
Go, Paul.
There's a large sect of the cult of Bass that are worried that T'Challa and Besa may become an item.
Oh, that's what BJ was going for right over there. Okay. Buckmeister, cool. Let's go back to you, and it's gonna take like a minute before you hear me say that. But let's talk about the next page here, where it comes to like the Kivumanis, the Kivuma, the villain Kivuma says on the final page, "No one ever leaves us, my dear. They are only traveling." I want your opinion on this page.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
He doesn't think what's going to happen.
He's referring to something that you said, but he's
Oh.
like very delayed.
about
wow.
them being together.
Yeah. And we're interrupting him right now when we're talking, but keep
Yeah.
going.
Back to the Kivuma page. I'm sorry, I'm basically on the flash stream where I'm traveling through times. Yeah, I'm traveling through time. Sorry, guys. Back to the Kivuma page. Basically, I like the interaction with Kivuma. With the daughter of that Nikish guy. Uh, so I again, Kivuma. I don't know what his end goal is. I just don't know where it's going. That's I guess my thing. I'm not sure what Eve is planning with this.
Got it. Okay, two Buckmeister, cool. Appreciate you, love you, and you know you're here at 2 a.m. However, this is not working at all. The conversation is stalled, so I'm gonna let you say goodbye. So let's do one more long ass break.
Is so guys, let me I'm
Yes.
messing
Thank you for
this up.
coming.
Let me check out for today.
He's out. I mean, yeah, we tried, right? But you know,
Yeah, no.
he'll make the video. I'll clip it up and everything. Issue number from Frustrated Fans Sports Show. Issue 8
Frustrated.
seemed more like a filler story. I think putting Saint Croix in was a request by Marvel to show the mutants even more engaged in Wakanda lore. I disagree. I think the whole cameo of remember this character, that character is a constant even before we gotta show what the mutants are up to, right? When has X-Men ever said, we need Monet to get a push? Let's do it in the Black Panther comic book. Let's be realistic, guys. Come on now. This isn't the let's push the character book. You feel me?
If anything, it's the other way around. I think based on Black Panther sales, having Monet might be a rise in the sale of that particular book.
I mean, makes sense with the variant cover that we got, right?
Right.
When you start looking at it, you see all the mutants and having Wolverine on there. It's trying to bring in some of those, X-Men fans, maybe, to come and pick up the comic.
Fans are crazy loyal. They'll buy anything with any mutant on it.
Exactly. So you try to bring them in.
They got the Wolverine bump. I thought it was just a 50 years anniversary of Wolverine. I think every comic book is going to get a 50-year anniversary.
Oh, you might be right, but the fact that you have a mutant in this one issue kind of makes sense to have them there.
So let me ask you guys also now, what did you think about that final page about the traveling?
I don't know what that means.
Neither did I, but I did enjoy looking at that purple cloud monster over there. And then I also like when it was a panther also in the form of like floating kind of gas monster thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where was it? Right on. Where's the page? It was a black.
It was the one right before, right? The tops.
Right before that page?
Yeah, right before that page. Look at the top.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There it is. Found it. This is so nice, man. We got sunset. It's like every color on the spectrum, the primary colors and secondary colors, right? I got my red and orange and yellow. Then I got my purple, right? Is anything blue? Maybe not. Maybe you could say maybe that was blue clothing that's being worn right there in the middle, right? We're just killing it with the rainbow because Jesus Abertov knows how to color.
Is that a panther or is that a wolf?
The gray wolf. It probably is a gray wolf. Now think about it. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I see you. Okay,
it's kind of wolfy. It's kind of got that nose.
It's a wolf.
You think Kivu is part panther? Nah, man. I thought that's a human being. He went through the Zawavari of the ancient times to get boosted up. So probably the antidote lies there also, right? That's not anything but a human being who got on the spiritual side of Wakanda. That's that. That's the Chala time, issue number 8.
Chala time.
Paul,
you need some type of video clip for that, man.
I need more, right? Yeah, I
need more.
I got a question though.
Yeah.
So just throwing it out there. With the whole thing, what he said, are only traveling. Do you think they're going to bring up the different planes of existence so that you don't think that or are they foreshadowing the fact that that he needs a new avatar, and and that's kind of what we're going from. So I thought that might be what they're kind of preluding to.
Traveling to a new host, traveling across the stars to a new host. Is there a subject of the cosmic portion of Marvel who T'Challa would hate? Killmonger?
There are many gods in Wakanda.
Okay.
We have seen other gods. We know that there is a gorilla god, right? We know that there is the panther god. We know that there's a lion god, Sekhmet, with ties to Wakanda. We know that there's a god for their, was it baboons or something like that? There's a bunch of different gods in Wakanda. Bast is the biggest one, obviously. But there are different religions and people worship different things. Is there a wolf god?
It's a wolf. The callback in issue 6 called him a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
But is there a wolf god? I don't know.
I thought I know of, but maybe he's trying to get on that level. Like he's a spirit that's trying to get on that level.
In ancient Egypt, were there heads that depicted a wolf?
I mean, eagles, all type of cats.
Come on, guys.
What is the one?
Anubis?
Thank you.
Anubis. Oh my God, you're 100% right. Yes. I'm like, what am I missing? Oh man, that's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know them like that. Like Tiamat. I don't know the Chinese horoscope. I don't know any of these things.
You
I'm sorry.
knew Anubis? You called it
Anubis,
out?
that was good that you.
You called it out?
Yes, Anubis.
Buckmeister said Anubis. I'm thinking of Lucario from Pokemon.
So, I mean, is Kivu Mar part of Anubis? I don't know. That'd be an interesting twist.
Yeah.
Pay a little homage to that country and their history. Okay.
I should add that to my list of questions to e-viewing.
Yeah, go ahead and add it. We'll wait.
Chillmonger wants to know if Anubis is the god that we saw at the end of issue number, what is this, 8? 8?
Yeah. My homie Chill from YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, needs to know. Are you one of the subscribers?
You should be, because you're missing out.
Missing out. T'Challa time every week. Anubis is more of a dog than a wolf, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Still canine, though.
It's a dog face, yeah. So, yeah.
It's a wolf. The callback there. Not that I know. Okay. All right. Thanks for that. You wrote the question. I was about to say plug yourself, but instead I'm going to say Brian, Spoiler Kings. Where can they find you?
Hey, I'm Brian Grizzly. I'm 1/3 of the Spoiler Kings. You know, we go over comic books, we go over movies, we go over TV shows, we go over anything nerdy. So I enjoy doing these things. I appreciate Chillmonger, who's the godfather of all the stuff that we've been doing. Man, if you guys like, subscribe, come see us at Spoiler Kings. We're trying to get to 1,300 real quick. So thank you guys.
I'll do me since I'm on your channel, right, Brian? Right, Paul? I'm Chillmonger. My channel is where we like to talk about things related to Black Panther heavy. I do review. I do the panel. Whenever things really pick back up again with Ultimate Black Panther, I'll be covering that stuff too. You can find me talking about Jonathan Majors and how he's an innocent man. I talk about Star Wars also. So if you're new and you like me and what I have to say, check me out. Paul from Black Comic Lords.
Hey, I'm Paul from Black Comic Lords, where we review, promote, and celebrate Black comic book characters and books and Black comic book creators.
And then he makes them say, you have to look in the camera and say that you're a Black comic lord. And he forces them. They don't want to do it. They're just like, oh, okay, we'll say it.
Wow.
They don't care about your little dingy little channel.
The shade.
Oh, man.
Hey, we're out. Thanks for coming.